to get a job there, then.
He was there.
Ladies and gentlemen, our umpires for today's match, Smith, Burton and Serbia, 13-33-26. Give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blues are on for the seven-straight final series. Their skipper is in great form and Archer's raring to go.
Well, at least they can spell Collingwood.
Leading them out is the king, Wayne Carey. Let's hear it for the mighty Wayne
Motlop. 44 Duxley. Looks like Michael will play forward.
Motlop.
That one.
Who's got the energy? Energy Australia.
Pumped up, mate?
Oh, yeah, it'll be all right for a while, I hope.
No, it'll be all right. They'll have a go, Collingwood.
I don't know about Collingwood socks, but yeah.
I hate them. I like the all black, don't you? It's like those Geelong ones. You remember those Geelong ones that had the white? They look shocking.
Channel 8.
Might be joining Plugger. Yeah,
Thin, very thin.
yeah. We haven't got anything to worry about, mate. It just
No,
changes
we've got
colour.
once you get to 50.
Oh,
Hey,
standing by.
Can you give us a count in and out then, please? Oh, yeah? Oh, geez.
Mickey and
Just when they
who?
bounce it, Mick, just when they're coming in to bounce it, just
Oh,
stop.
sorry, I thought I was Kevin
Finish your
Bartlett.
sentence.
I'll count you down, Mick. 1, 2, 3.
That's counting up, Couchy.
Well, you do it different down in the bush.
Explains a lot of things. Round 21 from the MCG. The Kangaroos and Collingwood. If the Magpies defeat the Kangaroos today, they could give Fremantle the wooden spoon. The Magpies going to the right in the first quarter. So Nathan Buckley won the toss. Umpire Troy Burton puts it down. Bathiris, quick hand pass to Krasiska. Up towards a huge pack of players. Bell roves it best at the back of the pack. quickly across his shoulder. Stevens to Blakey, game number 295. Freeborn against his old side, played in the premiership side with North Melbourne. Kicks deep into the Kangaroos' defensive area. Brown, Michael, quick snap. First blood to the Pies if he's accurate, but he's missed to the left-hand side and registers just a minor score. Peter McKenna and Mick McGuan join us in commentary today.
Yes, good afternoon, Pete, and good afternoon to you, Mick.
And what an interesting start to the game, Peter. We've actually got an unbelievable matchup today. Nathan Buckley is playing on Wayne Carey back at full-back. No doubt Denis Pagan will push all these forwards up the ground, try to isolate that particular matchup. No doubt Buckley will try to run off him at every opportunity.
Well, that's Byron Pickett bringing it to the half-back. Oh, big fly over the back there. Rocker came in to do some shepherding. He's got support here from Tyson Lane, who goes for the chip kick, and he finds Paul Williams. They want a big game today out of Paul Williams. Now he's driving it low to half forward. Some strong work by that strong North Melbourne defence. That was Blakey. Blakey, a short chip kick. This is Harvey. Harvey to half forward. Carey and Buckley too strong, too big. I don't know whether this is a good move. The chip passes across the ground. The running player coming down the ground is David King. I still think Buckley has to be up in midfield. King. Oh, this is poor defensive work by Collingwood, because chipping down there and into that hole at half forward is big Matthew Capuano.
Well, he certainly does do that role very well, Capuano. He just knows when to drift forward. Denis Pagan has no doubt spent a lot of time at developing this young player, similar to McKernan. We saw McKernan do this regularly over the last couple of years, but Capuano is the #1 ruckman now and does definitely drift forward. Anthony Rocker, who started in the ruck, will have to watch that specific move very closely.
Well, here's the kick from Capuano. It looks pretty good. Right through the middle. First goal of the game to North.
Yeah, well, it's an enthralling decision by Tony Shaw. Back in '96, Nathan Buckley played on Wayne Carey. He was probably Collingwood's best player, maybe best of field that night, because Collingwood won the game. Schwabel started on him that particular night. It was a night game, and Carey kicked the opening 2 goals of the game. Already now it looks like that Buckley is trying to get behind that matchup. Buckley and Schwabel are talking, but it's an interesting matchup.
So back to the centre after Capuano kicks the first goal for the Kangaroos. Mel Michael had a shot but missed. Betheras an opportunity at midfield, wrapped up by Stevens. Allison, one of the veterans in the Kangaroos side, spears the pass up towards half forward. That's okay, and the mark is taken by Scholl. Late inclusion in the side. Didn't play in the 2s yesterday at Punt Road Oval. McKernan dropping out. Big punch away by Buckley, didn't clear the zone. Archer centres it. Oh, Prestigiacomo should have taken the mark. Carey may make them pay. He's kicked out of bounds on the full. So a little bit of a let-off there for the Magpies. Free kick in the right back pocket will be taken by Lacuria.
And in midfield, Pete, there's some interesting matchups also. Peter Bell and Paul Williams are assigned to each other. And David King's actually started in the midfield. He's been picked up by Betheras.
So the Magpies, kick intended for Schwabel, went in his direction from Prestigiacomo. Didn't find its target. 78 games now, Andrew Schwabel. Often gets the job on some key forwards. I guess would have been a candidate today for Carey. Buckley has the job at the moment, as Mick mentioned, controversially at least. Stevens roves at best. Son a factor here as they go for the mark. They come from all directions. Right on 50. Grant put his body in. Buckley over the top. Mooney, no, Carey's got it. Mooney was also there in that pack. Archer. Oh, almost out of bounds on the full, but against Krasiska it won't be. It will be a throw-in left half forward for the Kangaroos. Leading by 5 points early in the first quarter. Disappointing crowd here at the G. Would have expected a few more under ideal conditions. We only had 16,000 here yesterday for Melbourne and the Brisbane Lions. Stevens tackled by Lockyer. Motlop nearly gets one in the back. Still got the footy. Bell claims it. Hand pass to Grant. Motlop again. Quick boot to ball. Taken by Buckley.
Buckley, a lovely little kick across the ground. Mark Richardson from half-back, drives it long to the half-forward area where there was a decent old contest going on. Oh, strong work. Terrific work. That was for North Melbourne by Adam Simpson. It's still on centre wing. Allison knocks it away. Mel Michael latches onto it and he hooks it back to half-forward. A little bit of a nudge, but Rocker stood his ground and took a very, very strong mark.
Yeah, and the rotation of using Mark Richardson going into the ruck has allowed Rocker to push to centre half forward, created a mismatch because Mick Martin, who was assigned to Mark Richardson, pushed up the ground as Richardson took that boundary throw in across the Kangaroos half forward line. Rocker then shifted forward and he was matched up by Blakey. Too tall, too strong in the marking contest.
Well, a chance to put the Magpies in front by a point. If he can kick this from right on 50. Anthony Rocker, never a doubt about the distance. It's over the fence and a goal.
Kick that 70 metres.
Terrific goal to Anthony Rocker. A booming kick. And under perfect conditions, Mick, the goal scoring should become furious and fast.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what will happen here. But good contest on centre wing there by all players concerned. Numbers at that loose ball contest certainly favoured Collingwood. They got the ball forward through Mal Michael. Good strength in the marking contest there by Rocker. And as we see now, Rocker will be taking the ruck. Richardson starting in the forward pocket.
Anthony Rocker kicking the Magpies' first goal. They lead by a point. 15 minutes remaining in the quarter. Beautiful day in Melbourne. Capuano and Rocker. Betheris got a hand on it. Couldn't do much with it. Finds himself on the bottom of the pack. Lockyer goes in solidly. It will be another ball up. Only metres from the centre circle. Tony Shaw's last game as coach at the MCG. A ground that would bring back so many wonderful memories of the premiership, etc. Richardson, Pickett, spiral punt kick off the boot. Shawbull. That could be too high. It will be too high. Collingwood free kick taken by the Courier, who's been good. Short to Richardson, game number 100. Long kick by Richardson, not as long as Rocker, who was the target. Michael and Blakey. Blakey dragged off it, arguably a free kick, will be a free kick. As I said, game number 295. This is Harvey around Tarrant. Shot in front, punched by Prestigiacomo. Archer runs into a brick wall, can't get clear, applies a tackle. Grant likewise on the Courier, fast and furious at centre wing. We had a fast and furious second quarter yesterday between Brisbane and Melbourne, and the Magpies certainly fired up today.
Ball on centre wing, there's Paul Le Courier, and after coming from Sydney Swans, well, he'd be delighted to be at Collingwood because he was a mad, passionate Collingwood supporter as a kid. There's Archer into half forward, no mark to Carey. He's got support from Scholl. Scholl drives it in towards Motlop. He's marked. He can run into an open goal on the left foot. Bang, goal to North. Well, brilliant play from young Shannon Motlop. He just used his body beautifully, Mick.
Yeah, he certainly did, Pete. Exciting player. I saw him play last week against St Kilda out at Waverley. But this is their predictability. Once they win the footy across centre wing or centre forward, they go direct at the goal. They try to kick in the grid area of the ground, which is from the point post, a direct line towards the centre square line. That's the area that players are moving. If you're going to receive the footy, you've got to be on the move in that part of the ground.
Motlop kicks the Kangaroos second. Got so many scoring options, North Melbourne, or the Kangaroos as they now are. Well, a fumble by Stevens only opens the gate for Addison. Addison kicks up towards centre half forward. Scholl has to apply a tackle. Mooney goes in to pick up the footy, but the whistle's already gone. It's a Collingwood free kick. The recipient is Richardson. Brings it out wide. On the end of it is Tarrant. Has to get around Addison. Does so effectively. Gives it to Buckley. Buckley away from Carey. The interesting matchup that Mick McGuan spoke about. Almost a mark to Pike. Martin farms it out. Betheris a chance. A couple of fumbles earlier. That's better. Williams can kick these. Often does. Beauty. Great goal.
And that's exactly the type of play that Paul Williams has got to get more into his game. He's a terrific overlapping runner. Too often this year he's got forward of the contest, therefore out of the contest. But on this occasion, he was still in the field of play, in the vision of his teammate for the overlap. That's the percentage spot to receive. Running into space, you can kick accurately for goal. No pressure, good conversion on his non-dominant side.
So the Magpies by a point. Good even contest so far. There's Rocker jumping high. It's kicked by Lockyer down towards the centre of the ground. Here's Bathiris again from inside 50. He bombs a goal with a long one. Another one to the Magpies. Lovely goal by Rupert Bathiris, and some very good signs for the Magpies early in the game.
Yeah, been a good start from Collingwood. Terrific working close there by Lockyer. Young player, very talented young player. Good body work there by Bathiris to get Simpson underneath the flight of the footy, therefore out of the contest. Swooped on the loose ball and kicked accurately for goal. Great team lifter from Collingwood's point of view to kick 2 in succession.
Rupert Bathiris, reserves best and fairest last year, originally from De La Salle and East Perth. So much travel. Williams out of the centre, who kicked the previous goal. Can they get another one? Bell. They're going to run it out okay now. Simpson. It's as far as it's going. Prestigiacomo runs into trouble. Lockyer gets him out of it. Buckley playing wide of Carey at the moment. Not a bad pass. Tarrant needs to be quick. Up inside 50. Could have been a free kick there to Brown. He was taken on the shoulder. Good tackle by Mel Michael to wrap up. Who was it down there? Was it Pike or Blakey? Johnny Blakey.
Peter, the interchange for the Kangaroos: Robert Scott, Brady Anderson, Shane Clayton, Scott Welsh.
Thank you, Couchy, and you'd be enjoying the sunshine on the boundary, I dare say.
It's magnificent. Haven't had a day like this for about 12 weeks, Peter, and I'm enjoying it.
Spring is in the air. Bounce just inside 50. Right half forward for the Magpies. Capuano kicked the first goal for the Kangaroos. Thumps it towards the boundary line. Pickett. Just a little shove by Bathiris as he gets rid of the footy up towards centre wing. Harvey. Kangaroos in great numbers there. Capuano is going to need a good bounce. Will he get it on the rock hard centre? Oh, good bump, Krasiska. Great stuff. Lucuria, Patterson, Blakey. It's a foot race. Taps it back to Michael. Gives it back to him.
Great spot.
Runs into Pickett. You wouldn't want that. Blakey goes for the boundary line. Krasiska making a second chance, and he does.
Yes, and he's given it across to Paul Lucuria, who swings onto the left foot, runs outside 50, bombs it in towards goal. It's wide. I think it's out in the full.
Yeah,
it is. Rocker trying to claim the mark, but it was blasted wide. It was a poor kick actually in the finish.
And a terrific passage of play. First of all, that bump by Krasiska in midfield, and then the smother of Byron Pickett just goes to show both sides are committed.
Mickey Martin to the half-back line. Scholl in front of Prestigiacomo, knocks it over the line. 7 points the margin. Magpies in front. The ball around about 75 metres around from the Collingwood goal.
And Richardson is actually playing a kick behind the play. He's going back there across half forward to add support to that matchup, Buckley versus Carey.
It's just to block up that hole that Carey often runs into. Here's the ball with Peter Bell on to Blakey. They're a very even side, this North Melbourne or Kangaroos side, we've got to call them now. There's Archer flying, still Archer. He's going around the centre wing area, brings it in towards it. Well, he's double teamed here, Carey. He was caught in the middle. Schauble to Richardson to centre wing, and the mark has been taken by Lockyer. So Tarkin Lockyer, he in turn gives it off to Krasiska on his right boot. He kicks towards the half forward line, but a nice mark, and that's taken for the Kangaroos by Adam Simpson.
Kick up towards midfield. And that is the North Melbourne doctor on the ground too. Harry Unglick. Oh, Grant and Davis. Bell. Carey. Rows it well. May bounce through. It does, but for a behind.
Peter, the interchange for Collingwood: Mark Orchard, Ricky Ollerenshaw, Jamie Tape and Heath Scotland.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see before too long, Couchy, while you're down there at ground level, Archer's matched up by Tyson Lane. That to me seems a mismatch. I'd like to see Denis Pagan maybe isolate Archer from the goal square, push Mooney and Carey up across half forward, because it'd make probably Collingwood react to that and maybe push Mel Michael back to pick up Archer.
That's a good idea, Mick. Just his body strength should worry Tyson Lane for sure.
Buckley Capuano and Richardson. Richardson the first to recover. Will he go off the ground? No, there's a free kick here.
Oh, man. Richardson grabbed the jumper of Capuano.
Mick, just a ground level, though. Just a ground level. The Collingwood players are very pumped up. They're ready for this.
Good.
Scholl in front. Prestigiacomo behind. No mark. No mark.
I think it came off the Collingwood player.
Yeah, that's what the umpire is signalling. It was touched, so we're going to see a ball up about 45 metres out from the goal. Here it is in replay, Mick.
Yeah, Prestigiacomo certainly had first purchase on the ball. Scholl no doubt tried to bluff the umpire at making a decision. And blood rule here. Capuano is the player coming from the ground, no doubt.
Yeah, the doctor was out there a couple of minutes ago.
A younger player, maybe a small, might come on. That'll mean Mooney will probably go into the ruck. North Melbourne players are running around the boundary line, so they'll take their time. It looks like
Robert Scott.
Welsh will come onto the ground.
Welsh, yeah.
There'll be a marking. He'll go to the forward part of the ground, I dare say, and Mooney will go into the ruck just until Capuano is stitched up.
Mick, another move there with Anthony Rocker with Mick Martin, just to isolate Mick Martin up at centre half forward there, where he's not in his comfort zone at fullback. Just loves it being around that area, can work percentages and go to the boundary line. So that's a good move also.
So a little delay for that blood rule. They would certainly want Capuano back on pretty quickly with McKernan out of the side. They need a ruckman out there, someone with a fair bit of height. So it's at half forward for the Kangaroos. Here's Brett Allison. He's got it. Quick little give to Carey and a goal. And he stirs up Nathan Buckley. He gave a little stir after he kicked the goal.
That is magnificent set play work from all concerned. Carey and Buckley having a bit to say against each other, but it'll be just a show of strength. Magnificent work there by Archer. That's the value of the man. The momentum of his body went through that contest. That's the reason why the footy went forward. Allison was aware of that stop play situation. He ran onto the loose bouncing ball, grabbed the footy cleanly, gave himself enough time to give the ball by hand to Carey, who was in the goal square unopposed, to kick the easiest of goals.
Carey gets his first and scores level again at the MCG in the first quarter. Williams kick smothered. North Melbourne again, well, Kangaroos, as we're supposed to say, win it out of the centre. Kick coming by King. Mark to Scholl, who can kick long. This time elects to go short. He's got Allison on a lead. Allison marks in front of Bathiris and within kicking distance about 40 metres out.
Yeah, Allison, a very experienced player. He knows when to push forward. At this stage, Davis, relatively inexperienced in terms of the amount of games played. He certainly has to watch Allison, being a renowned forward runner. He knows when to do so, and players within his team certainly look for him in the vacant spaces of the MCG.
Capuano's back on. Sorry, Pete.
Yes, thanks, Couch. And he's got gone to the forward pocket with no opponent at the moment. Brett Allison won the club goal kicking in 1997, 273 career goals in his 215 matches. Hits the post on this occasion. First score for him today.
It's interesting to see too, Pete, that North Melbourne adopting the man-on-man situation as Davis does come from the ground. Now Orchard will go on and tag Brett Allison. Good move by Tony Short.
Francisca had made a lead to the pocket.
Match up in pace too, Mick, there.
Yep.
Oh, terrible kick by Buckley. One of the worst I've ever seen him do. Archer, Carey and Buckley. Oh, good punch away by Buckley, but Harvey rows it well. Shepherd by Carey. Harvey goes out to Grant. Takes the mark in front of Scotty Burns.
Some good shepherding by Carey then too.
Yeah, great work off the footy, Pete. Well picked up.
That was actually a terrific spoil by Buckley, wasn't it? Because I thought that was an ideal situation for Carey.
Yep, just goes to show good composure. Young Harvey didn't panic, assessed his options, could have blazed to the front of the goal square, but realised that Shannon Grant was free. And as we know, Shannon Grant is a dead-eye dick for goal.
107 goals
from this situation.
103 matches, so averages about a goal a game, Mick, from just inside 50. He's got that one. 4 individual goal kickers for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, and this year, previous to that goal, he kicked 23 goals, 11. That's his 24th for the season. That just goes to show, irrespective how good a kick you are, as soon as you try to kick the footy too hard, as Nathan Buckley did on that occasion, it was just an errant kick. It gave Glenn Archer to win the loose bouncing ball and kick it back to the goal mouth. That's when the pressure doubles. Buckley had to spoil, and because of the way the numbers favoured North, they gathered that loose ball.
So the Kangaroos by 7 points. Rocker jumps high, gets it to Lockyer. They're very good at smothering the ball, these Kangaroos players. There's Krasiska receiving from Williams. Down towards half forward. Crashing his way through for the Magpies was Freeborn, but he couldn't get through the pack. And it'll be a bounce for the Collingwood side out at about 40 metres from goal.
It just goes to show what opposition sides think of young Chris Tarrant. Simpson's got the job on him in their defensive part of the ground. Good accolade for young Tarrant.
There's Rocker. He did the initial ruck work. He booms it back in front of goal. Oh, touch through. That was by Jason McCartney, but gee, a good effort by Rocker.
It wasn't a bad kick. Bit of breeze behind that. Would have been a goal.
Well, he was under pressure when he kicked it, but he gained a lot of distance with that snap. This is David King, a racehorse. Now he's chipping it in short, and he finds Peter Bell, and Bell will drive it out towards the wing area.
Well, not a great kick. A turnover at midfield. Richardson, in his 100th game, gives it to Gavin Brown. Oh, gee, that was quick to Lockyer. Lockyer from right on 50 blazes away and kicks one for the Pies.
He's a promising young player, is Lockyer. Very clean skills, good ball use. He's been pretty good in the centre bounces also. He's got his body in between himself and his opponent and Peter Bell on a number of occasions. Gavin Brown, quick hands. The reason why he was up the ground basically because he was out there for the zoning situation for the behind that was kicked in by the Kangaroos team. But Collingwood are really committed in this contest.
Well, the Magpies have been showing some pretty good form. They've won a lot of games, but in recent weeks have been playing pretty well. There's Batheris, that's holding the ball. You can't, you've got to go back behind the mark, surely, as we see Stevens bring it across the ground. This is towards Motlop. He's a left footer. Now he bends it back into the goal square. They wrestle for it, nearly a mark taken down there. And that was by the Kangaroos player in Mooney. He missed it though, and it's forced through for a behind.
Yeah, an intriguing start. There's not much difference between these two teams as the scores indicate. Have a look at the entries inside the 50-metre zone. It's 13 to Collingwood, 10 to North Melbourne. Kangaroos, just goes to show how simple they play this game. 41 kicks, only 9 handballs. Collingwood much the same, 33 to 14. Both teams playing direct footy.
Krasiska in the pocket. Shannon Grant on the mark. Buckley has it punched away by Archer. Gets the hand pass back from Grant. Archer goes at goal. Hits the post. 2 to the Roos in the first quarter.
Yeah, just low percentage play there by Collingwood. That short chip kick directly over the mark. You just have to give it a little bit of elevation, which gives the defensive group an opportunity to spoil. You've just got to eliminate that from your game. It's just a low-risk kick.
Tyson Lane to kick in, the third Collingwood player to kick in so far. Even Buckley had a shocker, and I reckon he's about the best kick in the whole competition. Lane wobbles it, and that's the best word I think I could come up with, towards centre wing. Schauble was the target. A long way from finding him. It's out of bounds with the Kangaroos leading by 2 points in the first quarter, which has just over 5 minutes to run. So a throw in centre wing. Michael over the top of Mooney, who gets a second chance. Flipped out by Schauble. Krasiska, Lockyer avoids one, avoids two, gets it back. Krasiska, a veteran, has a paddock as it turns out. Tarrant taken out of the contest. Simpson, good mark at right half back.
Yes, excellent mark. Very strong overhead, Adam Simpson.
He made body contact early in the contest. That was the difference. That's the reason why he got Chris Tarrant out of that marking duel.
Now Stevens is going wide, looking for Mickey Martin, who waits for the bounce. He's had hamstring trouble. That's probably why he didn't really stretch out for that mark. Oh, that's out in the full, I think.
Yes, you're right.
And that'll be a Kangaroo. Oh, I thought it came off the...
No, off McCartney's foot.
Did
decision by the boundary umpire. You picked it.
Here's Rocker. Now, they're all yelling they have a shot. All the Collingwood supporters are yelling they have a shot. Now, Willie back. It's a 65-metre kick. He's looking to give it off. He's going to go the bomb now. Look at that kick. Have a look at that for a long kick. They fly from behind. It comes off hands. But that is a very, very long drop punt. Almost made the distance.
In saying that, though, Pete, it's also easy to spoil when it's only about 2 metres from goal. Better off probably just half kicking it about 15 metres from the goal
Top of the square.
Exactly.
Now there he is, Rocker. Got it down beautifully. It's kicked away out of defence. Grant. Kicked away by Byron Pickett to the centre of the ground. The race is on. Buckley in front. He's got support from Richardson. Just a touch of the fumble. Still going. Strong tackle. Just he broke it at the last second though, Richardson. To Buckley. He chips it wide and he finds Paul Lacuria.
Former Sydney Swan also goes in short towards right half forward. He's got Rupert Bathiris. Lane, if he's good enough. Harvey, good block, ball out of bounds. So that was about as good as the Kangaroos could hope for from that thrust. Collingwood's right forward pocket will see another throw in. Hey Mick, who's the longer kick? Which of the rockers, Anthony or Sav?
Dead eat.
Dead eat?
I don't think there'll be much difference between the two, honestly. Peters, Clayton comes onto the ground, obviously just to be used as an extra midfielder because Schwab will be picking him up.
Pike spikes it to the boundary line, gets Harvey, tries to get around and or over Bathiris with the kick, does so. Kick to centre wing, Collingwood with numbers. Sun was certainly a factor there. Collingwood free kick, it'll go to Buckley, I'd reckon.
No, Richardson over the shoulder against Carey.
They're double teaming Carey.
Working okay so far, although he has kicked a goal. Richardson in his 100th game. Big fly from Tarrant. Bell, good tackle. Motlop, boy from the Wanderers in the Northern Territory. Couldn't do much with that. Tarrant takes the hand pass, snaps and goals. Terrific hand pass. I think it came from Gavin Brown.
Certainly did. And Gavin Brown has been terrific in that part of the ground all year. Not only has he kicked goals himself, he's kicked 28 for the season, but he's gave away a number of others merely because of this act of play. Eyes on the footy, quick hands, good awareness of what's going around him. Young Tarrant, he's a quality young player, good finisher. He kicks his first of the day. Collingwood's 5th for the quarter.
That was a Diesel Williams hand pass, Pete, wasn't it?
Well, it certainly was a slick one and resulted in a goal.
And Pete, just another quick change. Prestigiacomo's actually, oh no, they've swapped back over again. Buckley's gone back to Carey.
Well, Capuano, a quick little kick out towards Allison. That was a slick hand pass to Bell. Scholl, David King from 50. Bombs at goal, it's starting to swing. I think he's just missed, he has. So it's a pretty even contest at the moment. The Magpies are always very, very competitive, particularly early. Sometimes they, when you think they're in a position to win,
Richardson's out.
Well, here's the kick. Beautiful long kick from Buckley. And he finds Prestigiacomo. Here's Bathiris. Will drive it. It's a wobbly kick to the centre of the ground. Good mark. Capuano put himself in front of the oncoming pack and took a nice mark.
And King's free too, Pete.
Now he's going to kick it wide. He's looking here for King. He loves to run. He's off. He now brings it back into that half-forward area. Punched down by Prestigiacomo. It's shuffled out back towards the half-forward line. Here's Shane Clayton. He in turn gets it back to King. King's going to kick it across the ground. It flicks over the back. Carey on Buckley. It allows Bell to kick it quickly in towards goal. I think it's a goal. It is.
Johnny Burns not too happy, but I don't think he touched it.
Yeah, good work off the footy there by Martin Pike. He was the player that got his body in between himself or the ball and his opponent, which allowed the pathway for Bell to run onto. That's what Scotty Burns was a little bit upset about. I think more about not making contact with the ball and trying to bluff his way through the mind of the goal umpire to signal lay behind.
Peter Bell, 90 goals in 96 matches. Back to the setup. Again, the Roos supreme at the bounces. This is like a training drill. Stevens unloads with a bomb, misses to the left-hand side. Terrific movement of the football. So we see the Kangaroos reserves, the bench warmers. Actually, it's a little bit cool in the shade, but out there, absolutely ideal. Buckley, that's a better kick to position. He's found Bathiris just up from the back pocket. Bathiris, well done to Prestigiacomo, short of right centre wing. Clock ticking down to quarter time. We've got just over 1 minute's play remaining. Can the Magpies get another goal? Certainly the Roos with numbers here. There was a shepherding there. It was illegal according to the umpire, and the free kick will be taken by Lucuria.
Paul Lucuria, a nice looking kick too, in towards half forward. Martin at the back tries to thump it away. Pike is there against his ex-teammate Freeboard. Quick give over to Lockyer. Lockyer under a little bit of pressure has blazed away and put it out on the full.
Peter Bell's had 8 possessions. Tartan Lockyer's had 7 possessions, but he's kicked 1 goal. Both have kicked 1 goal. They're matched up against each other in midfield. Intriguing duel, that. One young player against the season contributor for the Kangaroos.
There's Mickey Martin to the half-back area. Packed flies. Francisco onto his right foot. It's a wobbly one. Pickett's got to wait underneath it. Oh, that is a good mark. And in fact, he paid the free kick in the end, and the loose ball comes to Mickey Martin. They've got 20 seconds to race it down. The Kangaroos still going on with it. Mickey Martin brings it in towards half forward. He's hoping Carey can take a mark. Buckley's done a pretty good job on him. Over the back is Tyson Lane, who kicks to centre wing.
Pickett thumps to the front and just near Shannon Grant. Francisca, Harvey, Patterson. There's the siren to end the first quarter, and a very competitive one from Collingwood, trying to avoid the wooden spoon. If they win, they will hand it at least for a week to Fremantle. They have a superior percentage, but the Roos looking for second spot on the ladder, and they will get that tonight if they can defeat Collingwood. 5-6 to 5-2. We've had 10 goal kickers in the first quarter, and the Magpies trailing by just 4 points.
Yeah, no, good start from Collingwood's point of view, Pete. They worked hard in that first quarter. A lot of interesting matchups. What the Kangaroos don't want to fall into is a game of keepings off. They've got to be methodical in their approach. They know their game plan, which is a simple one. Obviously, they've got to look at a couple of more routes towards goal, because Richardson is plugging that hole up. Buckley's doing the defensive pattern pretty well against Carey. This is when Scholl and Archer, Mooney, and quite obviously Clayton, that type of personnel, will have to be used and look for on the way through.
Quarter time here at the MCG. The coaches come out to address their charges. The Kangaroos by 4 points. Don't go away. Back shortly.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Dunno.
Start of the second quarter at the MCG. Buckley still with Carey in one of the more interesting moves made so far in the match. And the Magpies come back. They trail by 4 points. Bathiris, quick kick out to the edge of the square. The 100 gamer Richardson takes the mark. Now plays on. They come from all directions. Rocker got two hands to it. Lockyer, a goal kicker, takes it from Freeborn. Good knock on by Tarrant. Oh, gee, that was a bit high on Patterson. He's going to get a free kick, I think. Yes, he is.
Yeah, free kick there to Patterson. Once again, Mark Richardson's mobility is causing a concern on Mick Martin at centre-half forward. As soon as that is this contest, just the hip region of Martin Pike collected Stephen Patterson.
He's actually a little bit unlucky when you look at that replay. It just was his hip.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even, I don't think, attempting to run through him.
There wasn't an intent there, but the head-eye contact was made, and
That's
the
illegal.
umpire deemed that to be illegal.
It would look to be as if almost if he ran into his hip rather than the other way around, didn't it?
Headbutt in his hip.
86 goals in 94 matches for Stephen Patterson, so he too averages about 1 goal a game. And a chance to put the Magpies back in front.
Patterson's been a pretty good goal kicker for Collingwood this year also, Pete, as he lines up for this shot on goal.
He's
Kicked
gone
very
back a long
accurately.
way.
18 goals for this year. This could be his 19th goal for the season.
And it is. 11 goals kicked in the match, and we've had 11 different goal kickers. Collingwood back in front by 2 points, 6-2 to 5-6.
Pete, you'd have to be happy with that conversion from a small player. Here's his build-up here. As we watch the footy getting pumped forward by Tarkin Lockyer. Watch Patterson just to the right of screen here. Oh, yeah, a little bit stiff, I suppose, for Martin.
Very, very unlucky to have that against him. Two points the margin. Magpies in front. We're seeing a very, very good contest. The ball back here with Bathiris, who's really showing some fine form in recent weeks. A great kick. Finds Williams. Way outside 50. Bombs it in. It should be a mark coming. Oh, good play by Pickett. Terrific play. Still taking it. Still going. Brownie was in there too. And eventually Simpson takes it over the line. But it's deep in that forward pocket. It looked like Brown. Oh, also it's a good play by McCartney there.
Yeah, pushed his body back against Brown. But Pickett loves to overplay the situation, and that's just team-orientated footy.
Well, there's a quick kick. Shannon Grant. Out it comes to the mark. Bathiris has been terrific. He's really playing well. He brings it across the ground with a wobbly kick. But the mark is dropped. Tarrant. Now they've lost it. And this is Capuano. Received it from Stevens to the centre of the ground. Shannon Grant on the Motlop. A long kick in towards the direction of Carey. It's a loose ball at the back. Craig Scholl latches onto it. Stabs a goal and has missed a sitter. And he's not happy with himself. They have missed a few easy ones, the Kangaroos.
2 posters.
So the Magpies now lead by that solitary point.
38 to 37. Buckley and Carey, the interesting duel. Buckley to kick in. Made a meal of one in the first quarter. That's newsworthy because his kicks are usually so very, very good, as that one turned out to be. And he's got it to Williams. Williams short of right half back. Looking for Lockyer. Bell. He's also very good close to the ground. Pike, who's had injury problems in recent times, now he can make amends here. Scholl should make amends and does make amends for the Kangaroos. Craig Scholl kicks his first, and he too joins the goal kickers. So 12 kicks, 12 goals.
Yeah, good work there by Scholl, very experienced player, battling close, good long handball to the run of Pike. Good contest there by Prestige Cumming. Tried to push back, just didn't make body contact. That was the reason why the ball was allowed to spill over the back of that contest. And Scholl swooped on the loose ball and kicked accurately for goal.
Well, the Kangaroos in front now by 5 points. This is an important time of the match. The quick kick was by Bell, straight up in the air. Shawble tried to spoil. It was Pike down towards the half-forward line. Shane Clayton gives it off. Shannon Grant, dummied the hand pass. Now he'll race in, stab it low. That's a great play by Grant to Carey, who had chipped in. But Grant didn't blaze away. Mick, and good thinking.
Yeah, and Carey demanded that footy. That was the difference. You watch his hands, if we can see it on the right of screen. Grant was looking. Buckley dropped off the contest of Carey. Carey led directly at the kicker in Grant and demanded the footy.
Wayne Carey just slides out to the right. I think he's missed this. Now he
kicked it.
He was trying to run out to the right slightly to open up the goals a bit and didn't really kick through it.
Yeah, good point, Pete. I think you've got to run straight at the goal, drop the footy straight, bring your leg through straight, the footy will go straight. On that occasion, Carey just tried to open up the angle. It's interesting to see also now that North Melbourne have adopted their zone situation when Collingwood are kicking the footy in. In the first quarter, they went man on man. Collingwood got free too often. That's the reason why Pagan has readjusted.
Richardson, the flyer at the back. Prestigiacomo tackled by Grant, back to Bathiris. 10 possessions for him now. Lockyer just didn't have the height to go with Carey. Carey at right centre wing. On to Capuano.
Should have given it off.
He's been very good so far. Let's see if the play comes to fruition. Clayton, Grant off a step into the goal square, and it bounces through. No, it doesn't bounce through. It bounces out of bounds. So a throw in right next to the behind post in the Kangaroos' right forward pocket. 16 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, Pete, I think tall players should always handball the footy to the overlapping good kicks for goal, and David King certainly is that.
Exactly, particularly when it was King coming past. He should have given it to him.
Well, pretty untidy in close there, so a ball up is the only possibility. Inside 50s, Kangaroos 18, Collingwood 23. So 5 more to the Roos. There are 3 umpires, 4 today: Humphrey Smith, Cercia and Troy Burton. Richardson outmanoeuvred by Scholl, tries to crash his way through. No hope of doing that. Nearly holding the ball. Kangaroos claiming it. Another ball up.
Peter, the interchange for Kangaroos: Robert Scott, Brady Anderson, Cameron Mooney, Scott Welch. There's only been one change there in Collingwood. Ricky Olenshaw, Jamie Tate, Nick Davis and Heath Scotland for Collingwood.
Yes, the coaches haven't used the benches much so far. Williams, like Richardson, tries to crash through. We'll see another ball up in exactly the same spot.
I think also, Pete, that in the general motion of play, I think Capuano's a player that has to go forward with Richardson. Instead of Richardson just peeling off the contest and just getting back there to make it a 2-on-1 situation against Carey, Capuano's a player that's got to offer his support when the footy's coming forward.
Capuano gets a boot to that and rushed over the line by Paul Licuria for a minor score to the Roos. So at least we're going to clear it out of that zone. 45 now plays 38 in the second quarter.
Well, 6 goals, 9 from 15 shots. Well, not all shots, so a couple of them have been rushed, but that's not very good under perfect conditions like this. Now Buckley's being forced to kick short, or just got to Scotty Burns. Now Burns in the back pocket, brings it in towards the half-back area. Up they go. Carey flew over the back. Here's Tarkin Lockyer, a very promising player. Kicks long and wide and bounces it over around about the centre wing area. And Collingwood have been very competitive. They've about 8 shots to 15, but they're only 7 points behind on the scoreboard. So the ruck contest. It's Mickey Martin to take on Anthony Rocker. They both missed it. King did well to tap that down. Here's Motlop. That was cleverly done. He's got Harvey there. Harvey dodging and weaving. He'll kick it long. It's a wobbly kick in towards the half-forward area. The Kangaroos players trying to swivel. Oh, be careful. This could be holding it. He almost dragged it in. It's given off by Grant to Bell. Bell snaps a goal, and he's missed also. Well, their kicking for goal is pretty ordinary, the Kangaroos.
Yeah, you just can't afford to miss opportunities like that. Good build-up in close. Capuano was free. All you needed was a little deft kick across his body. Would have found Capuano unopposed. Dangerous.
Oh, gee, this is dangerous. Lane has to go off the ground. Archer to Carey. Two of their big guns combining. They've got loose players everywhere. And that was very loose checking by the Magpies.
Two more short if he turns his back quickly.
Well, he should never have turned his back. He had two loose players 20 metres away.
Yeah, I think that's a basic principle when you're taught at a young age. If they mark the footy in the forward 50-metre area, get back from the mark quick, assess your options, because someone might have got behind the defence. On that occasion, two Kangaroos players did so, but Grant obviously backs his ability. He's a very accurate shot on goal. We'll have a look at his technique here as he comes in to shoot for his second for the day.
Kick one already, so 24 for the season. Oh, and that's just scraped in, I'd reckon, for a goal. It has. Shannon Grant becomes the first multiple goal kicker in the match. So now 25 for the season, and the Roos go to a handy lead, the biggest of the day so far in this match.
And that's what happens when you create a mistake from a kick in the zone situation. If your defensive team wins possession and gains the footy quickly, zone players are more often than not unopposed, left free. Carey found Grant, who was unopposed, all by himself. He took the easiest of marks and kicked an accurate shot on goal.
Shannon Grant has kicked two, and all of a sudden it's a two-goal lead. There's Capuano out of the middle. Hurry kick Burns.
Good hands.
Gave it off to Buckley. Buckley on the left. That's a huge kick from a standing start. Now they've got a chance, the Magpies. Mel Michael stabs it in low. Oh, the mark has dropped down there, but he's still got it. Tarrant tries to bend it around, but under that severe pressure. But he should have taken the mark in the first place, the young fella. Bad luck, and the ball will be thrown in deep in the Collingwood forward zone.
And there's no doubt, Pete, that he uses talent, but at times he can be a little bit laconic in his attitude to attack the footy. That's the reason why the ball spilled free on that occasion.
Rocker and Martin thumped to the boundary line. And if you're a supporter, you could argue that Simpson's attempt wasn't disguised too well.
And now Capuano has matched up Richardson. Good work there by Pagan to assess that Capuano's got to be using that one-on-one role. More or less play like a centre, second centre half forward.
Pike shovels it out. Now, there might be a free kick here.
Mick, it's important time for Collingwood here. They really need the next goal, not let the game get away from them here.
Yeah, good point, Couchy. At this stage, you just seem to think that the Kangaroos are starting to take control. 17 shots to 8, double. But Collingwood are still in grasp. They certainly need the next shot.
And it's still in their attacking zone. If they can make something of this, Motlop's out of bounds. So too is the footy. So the Kangaroos have worked it around towards the 50-metre arc.
And now that Archer's been pushed up the ground, Collingwood have swapped Schwabel onto Carey, and Buckley's gone to Archer. No doubt Archer will just go deep again, try to drag Buckley's influence out of this passage of play.
Martin's kick was smothered, so still inside the attacking 50. That's a trip, surely.
I think it was a trip.
Motlop has it, gets the rebound well. Roos players in numbers now. Grant loses a few metres to get it back to Bell. That was okay as it turned out. Stevens. Now Capuano, there is a whistle. The ball is coming back.
Yeah, against Richardson, who slung Stevens off the footy after he got rid of the handball. Bad work there. Good play there by Williams to come and stand the mark, because Richardson had to push forward with Capuano. Would have been a mismatch in height. Good awareness by Paul Williams.
So Stevens, the best and fairest a couple of seasons back at North Melbourne. All-Australian representative last year. Stevens from right centre wing. Carey the target, doesn't let him down. Takes the grab.
Great play.
Casually goes at goal. Maybe a little bit too casual. I guess we'll put it down as a pass for Capuano. As it turned out, it was a shot for goal and he missed.
That is very poor football, but an ordinary effort by Capuano to get. He should have snaffled that mark easily.
Yeah, no doubt the communication was there between the two. I thought Carey did the right thing on that occasion. Got back from the mark quick. Capuano certainly did get behind the defence. He was free. Just there was too much weight in the carry of the ball from Carey, and Capuano's effort just wasn't as intense as it should have been.
Well, it should have been a goal from there. Here's Orchard. Lovely kick.
And Richardson's out too on centre wing.
Finds Schauble. And there's Mark Richardson, as Mick said now. He's going to run around away from Carey in towards half forward. Here's that strong Kangaroos defence. Now Rocker to Brown. Gavin Brown races into goal and puts it through. So an opportunity missed at one end, and the Magpies make the Kangaroos pay.
Well, Gavin Brown's only had 4 possessions. He's kicked a goal with his first kick, but one of his other possessions, Mick, was a good hand pass that also resulted in a goal.
In terms of possessions, Brownie hasn't won a lot of the footy this year, but he's been very competitive in that forward part of the ground. He tackles hard, keeps the footy in his area. That's what good forwards are capable of doing. Gavin Brown certainly does that. No doubt he's been a terrific player for Collingwood for a long period of time.
Approaching the halfway mark of the second term, Gavin Brown kicks his first goal. So all individual goal kickers for the Magpies. They're hanging on to the Kangaroos. Brown paddles it forward. Lucuria's there again. It's a second chance. Buckley reads it best. Long kick by Buckley, and you put that down as a 50-metre pass from Nathan Buckley. He's so good at doing that. Michael on the end of it says thanks very much.
Well, this is where he's got to be, Buckley, doesn't he, Mick, up around the middle?
Yeah, in the midfield today, I think from this point in time, he's got to go back there. He's got to start winning a lot of the footy. He's only had 6 kicks at this stage, merely because he's been in that defensive part of the ground.
Mel Michael for a shot at goal. Made his name as a defender when he first came to Collingwood. He hasn't kicked it like one though. That's a goal.
Yeah, Collingwood certainly needed those 2 goals in succession to bridge the gap. Now it's only 3 points the difference. Just looking at what will happen at this centre bounce, it looks like Buckley is out of the centre square. He's picking up Archer. At this stage, Carey's going back to this goal square, one-on-one against Schauble. So it'll be interesting to see how long that match up.
So back we go to the middle. Favoured Capuano, that bounce. Stevens always seems to get his boot to it. Here's Allison, used his body beautifully then, gives it off to Bell. Bell, a shocking kick, a terrible kick off the side of his boot. Oh, it's gone past the Collingwood players, but now Tyson Lane. There's loose men everywhere for the Magpies. This is Patterson. Centre wing is Rupert Patheris. If he can use this properly, the Magpies might be able to get a goal and hit the front here. He puts it up high. Oh, good mark. Coming across the front is Glenn Freeborn. And the Magpies can go to the front if he kicks this.
Yeah, just a remarkable turnaround. Good ball use there by the Collingwood team. Good awareness there by Patheris. He straightened his body up to get onto his right leg. And that is a penetrating kick to the front of the goal square, about 30 metres directly in front. Good percentage play. It just gives the forwards an extra dimension to lead to. Freeborn was the marking player, got to the right spot and took a well-judged mark.
Glenn Freeborn against his old side. He's directly in front. It's a wobbly one. It might sneak in. No. Now, was that touched or did it go the wrong? I might have been touched on the line, or was the wrong side of the post, one or the other. Nevertheless, it was an awful kick off the boot and a big opportunity for the Magpies there. Went begging.
He was aiming to become the 9th goal kicker for the Magpies. Capuano in the box seat had it, I thought. Well, that's interesting. They called play on, so obviously he didn't play the mark. You can't play on after the mark.
Well, he did play the mark, so that was a wrong decision, actually.
Carey, Pike. Well, it's my understanding of the rule.
Yeah, he did. He played the mark, and then he called play on. It was
that's the case. That is a wrong decision. Looked like the infringement to me from up here was paid, Pete.
Okay, all right.
Rocker went across the line of Capuano.
Martin Pike. Gives it both barrels, but has missed to the left-hand side.
Yeah, their kicking's been terrible, hasn't it?
7-12.
Very similar to the second quarter in the grand final last year. Here's this incident here.
Well, it's
There's the free kick.
well, but he actually signalled the mark.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So
there's the
that's
umpire.
where it's a strange one.
So Burns. Puts it back into Tyson Lane.
Oh.
Lucuria robes it well on centre wing, the former Sydney Swan. Again, as the son of Factor, Martin missed the mark. Patterson almost turned inside out there by Pickett. Getting into position though well is Rocker. And there won't be any doubt Rocker will get the distance.
I just think the slung of the tackle, and he's changed direction.
Oh, no.
Why did he do that?
He does it a lot.
This is Bathiris. Now he's 10 metres further. They've gone back to centre wing.
Oh.
Burns,
Buckley.
he's their best hope. Brown bombs away, and I think as missed he has.
He does that time and time again, Anthony Rocker. How many times have we seen it, Mick, this year?
Yeah, I don't know what goes through players' minds in the modern game, Pete. When
40
you're
metres out
35
the
metres
most.
from goal,
And he's the best kick in the
you've got
side.
65 metres. You've just got to back your instincts and go back and say, OK, I'm going to make a stance in this game and go back and kick it.
Well, the Kangaroos through Brent Harvey to the centre of the ground. Oh, big thump. Back it comes towards the Magpies at half forward. Lockyer did pretty well. Socket off the ground. That was by Welch. Way out towards half back. The race is on. Oh, gee, there's some pace by Patterson. Well played. In towards half forward, but a mark to the Kangaroos, and that's Archer taking the diving attempt.
Now
this
that Buckley's gone to midfield, Pete, Blakey's picking him up. I just thought I'd make that point.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. As we see another Mick Martin. Two on my. Oh, there's a big fly. Was by Clayton. It's shuffled out towards the boundary line. Well played, Paul Lucuria. Well done to Tyson Lane. Lane, oh, he's got to kick it. He gets his boot in towards half forward. The bounce will favour the Kangaroos. Oh, strong bump on Simpson. Simpson then was caught pretty high. Umpire calling play on his Bell. Some strong work by Brown. Now Bell. And they crash in there. That was some good football there. Desperation. There'll be a bounce at 50 metres for the Magpies.
Yeah, good pressure from both sides. Good bump there by Rocker. Good balance in the contest. Also by Simpson. Gavin Brown charged his body in. Severio Rocker tried to keep the ball free. Then good pressure on Bell to keep the ball in Collingwood's 50-metre area.
Anthony. Sam's still on the boundary
sorry,
line, isn't he?
Anthony.
That's okay. They
Sorry,
love him
yeah.
out there. He'd love to be out there too. Welsh, Tate. Both started on the bench. Jamie Tate, the former Tiger. Oh, Patterson had to really bend for that one. Bell, a little give back to Pike. Pike off a step, kicks to centre wing. Clayton and Lane. Stevens. Quick kick. Shawbull. No, he's going to leave it for Richardson. Oh, gee, they're messing around with it now. Buckley finally right back in the key defence post. Burns at left half back. That's a better kick. Good distance with it up towards centre wing. Stevens will get back there first. He does. Trying to beat Williams. He's opposite number 10. Williams claims deliberate. Now, what's the umpire going to do? He'll say throw it in, I think.
Peter, Brett Ellison come off. That's why Scott Welsh is on. Mark Orchard did a great job on him. And Mark Orchard's off. There's been another change. David King's come off and Robert Scott's come on.
Capuano is really, really struggling when he's not actually on the ball, so they might have to think twice about
That's too
that.
high. Bathiris, who's been very good today, 8 and 6 and 5 marks. Bathiris from left half forward into the goal square. Can't find a player. Freeborn, Tarrant, this way, that way. Great prospect. Tarrant puts it up in front of goal.
Oh.
Good punch away by Simpson. Williams needs to turn quickly. Terrific spun. The Pickett's there. Burns. Now Freeborn snaps and has missed golden opportunity by the former Roo.
Is that a hot ball or what, Mick?
Well, Collingwood, to their credit, this quarter they've been very decisive in making the right decision. They've really attacked the loose ball. They've tried to set up play with the right option. Been an impressive quarter from Collingwood's point of view.
Yes, I agree with that. They've been terrific, but gee, it was a hot potato down there. That Kangaroos defence, do they charge in and hit hard? Bell towards centre wing. Blakey, he hasn't got much support. Now he has through Mickey Martin. He's taken to the line, and the umpire's calling for a throw-in.
I think Denis Pagan also at half-time, he'll just get back to the basics of the Kangaroos team. I think they're just trying to play with too much flair. They're better when it's hard, it's tight, and they keep it simple. But at the moment, too many Collingwood players are getting free and able to be used.
Lane did well to Burns. It should be Wade couldn't see it in the sun unless he worrying about that hamstring. Mickey Martin, here's Lacuria into half forward a little bit high, allows the defensive punch. Socket off the ground, that's from Adam Simpson. Out here is Jamie Tape. Grant's after him. Well played by Grant. Tape also got back, and now Freeborn claiming a free kick for holding the ball, but the umpire having none of that. The umpiring, in all fairness, has been pretty good. They're letting it go, and it's a good game to watch.
Once again, Buckley's gone back. Sorry, Pete, back to centre half back to pick up Carey.
Hardball gets 17 to 36 in favour of Collingwood, and I'm sure that's a stat that would please all Collingwood supporters and their coach.
Rupert Batheris has been picked up by Robert Scott now. He's had a great second quarter and first half.
Yeah, he certainly has. Good point, Couchy. Come onto the ground to pick him up. Harvey was his direct opponent. Batheris at that stage had won too much of the footy.
Rocker and Martin, one by Rocker, intercepting is Stevens. A little bit of a fumble, still gets away with it. Scholl, strong grab, he's got good hands.
Scott's running free and running hard. This is where Motlop shouldn't have crowded his space, because Burns has got back into that area.
Well,
just got to communicate better.
Got the mark. No, didn't play it. Oh, gee, that's tough. Oh, golly. It's going to be a ball up. Collingwood's not happy.
Yeah, Mickey, a big crooked on Motlop for doing that. He should have went out to the wing and give space to Scotty.
Yeah, definitely. It's just lack of communication, awareness. And to me, that's selfish play within your team ranks.
Richardson gets up high. Williams up and under kick. Blakey's got it. Boot to ball quickly. Carey.
Oh, strong.
Too strong.
He doesn't need too many opportunities to turn a match. Wayne Carey, 550 career goals in his 203 games.
Have a look at the strength here, Pete. Just through Nathan Buckley. Off the line of the contest, there's no doubt Carey's very strong in the one-on-one, because Buckley is also. Wayne Carey, as we know, is just a sensational competitor, great player.
2 minutes to half-time. Carey gets the goal, his second. That's what Collingwood didn't need. So Carey, the Roos' second multiple goal kicker behind Shannon Grant, who also has 2. All Collingwood's 8 goals, 8 different goal kickers.
Yeah.
Suppose the mark that wasn't paid down there is going to cost Collingwood, but it did, as it turned out.
He was stiff, Burns. It looked a mark, didn't it?
Yep, definitely looked a mark. Good play there by Burns, but unfortunately wasn't rewarded for his courage and his work rate. But Collingwood have been terrific in this quarter. Admittedly, they lost the quarter by 3 points at this stage, but a lot of positives coming out come half-time.
7 points the margin, and a vital minute and 40 seconds coming up. They could ill afford to let them get another one. It's the Kangaroos. That was Harvey. Here's Burns giving it off to Krasiska, who kicks wide, and the ball will roll over the line. So we're got a minute 25 until half time, and a goal either way would make a big difference here.
At this stage, Pete, Byron Pickett is loose across half back, allowing Scott Burns or even Tyson Lane to be loose for Collingwood. I just think Northmore, the Kangaroos, have got to tighten it up and make it one-on-one accountability all over the ground. Here's another instance, a lot of Collingwood players free.
Oh, Batheris got the free kick, got it to Burns. Up they go, Rocker underneath it. McCartney, now a chance for Tarrant. Now Rocker, he's going to have the big snap. Anthony Rocker into the goal square. Oh, hit the post.
Great work, Brown. A little bit stiff. Good kick on goal by Rocker. Only needed a little bit of luck. The ball would have certainly rolled end on end. Good work, good strength there by Brown to push Pickett off the line of the footy. The old Rongan hit the post.
If it bounced the other way, it would have been a goal. Martin takes the hand pass at right centre wing. Seems to be having no problems with that injury. They're having a few problems with Carey up there, though, in the latter stages of this quarter.
That was a great mark.
Certainly was a terrific mark. Never looked like he was going to get to it. Buckley initially got on the right side of the contest, then Carey worked his body in front of Buckley, gave him that little bit of shove to give him a little bit of space to work in, and took a diving mark.
60 goals now for the year. This for number 61. Not quite over the line, and Wayne Carey finishes up with one behind.
And Archer's actually gone back to half-back for the last 5 or so minutes. He's picking up Mel Michael now.
Nathan Buckley to bring it in. Just a few seconds remaining to the siren. Buckley goes in short, finds Burns in the right back pocket. There is the siren to end the first half. The Magpies, I think, would be fairly happy with their work rate. They're not in front, but they've certainly kept the pressure on North Melbourne right throughout the opening 2 quarters. And the Kangaroos with a 7-point lead at the main change after they led by 4 points at quarter time. It's 8-13-61, the Kangaroos. Collingwood 8-6-54 at the MCG. The second half coming up shortly.
It's a great game of football. Stand amongst the Collingwood supporters. Come on. It's our half-time expert. You've got a large pack in your hand. Come on. That's really good so far. Certainly, the Kangaroos have come back in that second quarter. He's surprised at how good Collingwood is playing.
Just to let them know they're missing out. Please listen to and read this important announcement. In the unlikely event of a major emergency at the MCG, the ground disaster plan will swing into immediate action. Patrons in affected areas will be alerted by PA, scoreboards, and the ground officials to evacuate the building stands via the nearest sign exits, or even onto the arena if advised to do so. Please familiarize yourself with the nearest exit. Do not use lifts, and please refrain from using mobile phones. And please note, in the event of a serious disaster within the MCG, total evacuation is required, and any emergency will probably be confined to 1 or 2 or 4 stations.
Every day, a few strains could smile, some will come, but again, City Links West Coast is now green. If you want to get full mileage out of it, and if you can walk over to an internet, it's 9 o'clock, because today is not soon. For 13 months after the green today, City Link is moving.
Interesting, if I could say, very, very interesting move by Tony Shaw. Everything has been okay. Collingwood enthusiasm. I'll tell you what, 2 or 3 years' time, all these Collingwood haters will actually be eating your words because they're going to be a fair side. Kangaroo, on the other hand, seem very, very focused. They just do enough. See mighty Nick Martin doing so very, very well. There's a lot of very, very good backward call for people like a man. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Standing by. This is interesting. Look. No forwards. What's going on?
Now, what is going on?
Start of the second half at the MCG, and looking to the right of screen there are no Collingwood forwards. I don't know where they've gone. We'll pick them up in just a minute. Rocker taps it down. Krasiska, a fresh air shot almost. Lockyer out towards centre wing. Tarrant and Lucuria. Tarrant gives it back to him. Oh, for the second time today, Patterson. And the advantage has been paid. Patterson's still on the ground. Play continues. Rocker has marked in the goal square. Trainers coming out to Patterson. He got a free kick for that. The advantage was paid. Now, Mick McGuan, what was Tony Shaw's ploy there to start the quarter?
He obviously, all players got alongside the centre square line, the back of the centre square. They won first access to the footy. They deliberately got the ball wide, and all of a sudden, weight and numbers running into that forward part of the ground proved valuable for Collingwood, hence the shot on goal from Rocker.
Which he gets.
Oh, don't tell me he's missed.
No. He's hit the post.
Oh, goodness me.
1 goal, 2. Oh, dear, oh, dear. He would have been their first multiple goal kicker. Should have been.
Yeah, you can't afford to miss shots on goal from that.
But he does it continually, Mick.
Yeah, I don't know whether he tries to kick it too hard all the time. I just think you've got to change your kicking leg to a degree, Pete. And he's 15 metres out from goal. You don't have to kick the ball 60.
That loses matches, that sort of kicking, as we see Byron Pickett bring it out towards the half-back area. Quick hand pass from Archer to Simpson, and he's kicked it straight to Scotty Burns. So Burns on centre wing. Anthony Rocker. He's in the centre of the ground. He's going to transfer play again. It's a poor kick, but it might come up because Lane will latch onto it. Lane kicks it low, and the mark has been luck's a fortune because Glenn Freeborn, I don't think it was intended for him.
I'm certain it wasn't.
You're not suggesting nearly get the trip here, Pete.
He's not a bad kick.
Yeah, a good long kick. Of course, he played in the Kangaroos Premiership team in 1996. Enormous impact in that game. That's good, strong hands above his eyes. He'll go back. He'll really run hard with his approach, kicking from about 53 metres from goal.
So Martin Pike on the mark. 55-metre kick. There it is by Freeborn. It won't quite get there. Oh, the pack flies. The Magpies a chance through Brown. Just got his boot to it. And the umpire's pinging him for holding the ball.
Yeah, Motlop, the recipient.
So Shannon Motlop kicks wide. It has to be pinpoint accuracy. It is to Stevens. Stevens had no one to give it to, so he's forced to go backwards. This is Archer. Oh, he's taking a big pound here. Oh, that was very, very dangerous. McCartney onto the left. Brings it out, and it's got to come unstuck eventually with that sort of football. And now Tyson Lane will make the distance here. Here's a huge kick. He'll kick it from 50 metres. And gee, didn't they? Well, he said stuff around with it down there then, and that's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, no, it's just an intriguing game today. For 20 weeks we've saw the North Melbourne team very methodical, keep it simple. Today they just try to overuse the footy at times and has brought them unstuck.
Tyson Lane from right on 50. Set sail for goal. It's a beautiful long kick. It's through. Scores a level.
And I think it's fair to say over the last 2 or 3 weeks the Kangaroos can kick goals quickly, but they've also found a way of letting the opposition kick goals. By that I mean they give the footy up too easily. McCartney just blazed away on his left foot, didn't get enough penetration and still kept the footy in the corridor, which gave Tyson Lane an opportunity to mark the ball and kick accurately for goal.
9 individual goal kickers for Collingwood. They've leveled the score again. Yes, same setup again. No Collingwood players inside 50. Lockyer.
Now see if that works.
Now,
that's ridiculous.
Yes, coming unstuck this time. Archer, no opponents.
Well, if that's what modern football's coming to, it's going to be pretty boring.
Patterson. Yeah, they had to go laterally as they did before. It worked then, didn't work on that occasion. Here he is, Carey. Too strong.
And that's where you've got to work out the percentages, these set plays. They probably control about 10 to 15% of the game. That's a set play situation. Okay, it nearly worked in one instance, but the reality says try it again, it goes the other end, and Carey takes a mark and kicks a goal. All of a sudden,
I think
50% against 50%.
Well, some of this scientific stuff's absolutely ridiculous.
Carey, for his third today, gets it. 3 goals for against the Duck.
Whatever happens in footy, Pete, you still can't not accept the competitive side of it. And football revolves around a one-on-one contest, and to give the footy up, win it in their centre square, which you've got to do. Lockyer did that, and then to cough the footy up merely because you're kicking 40 metres from goal with no one there, all of a sudden it's a set-up drill for the opposition to push forward and win the footy. But too easy.
Well, we're back to the centre. Well, I can't believe you can start. Now they've gone back there. They've got a forward player. They've got about 5 forwards now, the Magpies, when they had none at the last centre bounce. Well, eventually it rebounded and Carey kicked the goal. But 6 points the margin.
I just think they're trying to get players behind the ball, Pete, and trying to run the footy through from half back. But eventually you have to have a focal point in your forward part of the ground to kick to.
Exactly.
Well, this is Kinnear bringing it down towards, not Kinnear, I should say Tarrant. So centre of the ground, coming wide is Williams. Lacuria, he went past the ball. Stevens tried to grab it. Lacuria again gets his boot to it. Down towards Brown, and Brown can't quite keep it in. 6 points the margin.
Peter, the interchange for Collingwood: Mark Orchard, Ricky Olenshaw, Nick Davis and Heath Scotland. For North Melbourne, Robert Scott, Brady Anderson, Brent Harvey and Scott Welsh.
So forward pocket for the Magpies. Williams
Great
flicks it
awareness.
over to Brown. Brown hooks it back. A great attempted goal, missed. Bad luck to Brownie.
Great awareness there by Paul Williams. Deft touch. What did that setup look like down at ground level, Couchy?
Yeah, great mick. It was fantastic by Brown. It was a great setup there.
No, I mean with the forward setup with no Collingwood forwards.
Yeah, well, you just can't kick goals when you win the centre clearance and you look up and there's no one there.
Capuano from centre half back.
She should have kicked it wide. He had a loose man.
Richardson punches to the front. Simpson. A little give. Lane's on the end of it though for the Magpies, as this time they do run it out of defence. Loose players everywhere. On right centre wing, it's Freeborn. Pickett.
He attacks the footy, doesn't
Good hard stuff at the footy. Buckley out of bounds.
It was poor play by Capuano a minute ago when he had a loose man on his own out wide, 30 metres clear. Clayton, was it?
He's done that twice today.
Oh, you've got to give it to your running players.
Michael over the top. Buckley from Patterson. Marking contest out in front of Collingwood's goal. Tarrant should get one here, and does. They work hard for that. Tarrant becomes Collingwood's first multiple goal kicker. And the Magpies are indeed giving a yelp. 1 point the difference.
Yeah, they are giving a yelp. There's no doubt about that. Buckley's gone onto the ball once again. As soon as he does that, Blakey picks him up. But in front of the marking contest was Jason McCartney. Gavin Brown did enough to get the footy over the back to Tarrant, who was awaiting that loose ball. He accepted it, waltzed into an open goal to kick his second for the game.
That goal was a result of a great bit of ruck work from Malcolm Michael, who flicked it over the back. Now, here's Shannon Grant. Carey's one-on-one here, or he was grabbed. Now, I think he might remonstrate with the umpire here. See if he says anything. No, maybe it was just momentarily. Let's see if he was grabbed, just slightly. So a throw in the Kangaroos' forward pocket area. Flick down to Lockyer. Presta Giacomo heads for the safety of the boundary line, and he finds it at half back. Point the margin. Magpies in front. There's the bench, and Mark Orchard is there. Scotland is there. There's Eddie Hillgrove.
Ricky Olenshaw and Nick Davis.
Yeah, thank you, Couch. And there's Eddie Hillgrove, who was once banned after the grand final in the fight that was out there.
Free kick, holding decision going Collingwood's way. Richardson, game number 100 for the Collingwood stalwart. Punch to the front on centre wing. Motlop had it, lost it. Grant decides to centre it. That's okay. McCartney's on the end of it. McCartney just wide of the centre square. Is kicked to half forward. Mooney in front. Scholl contest with him. Bell roves. Gets a second dig at it. Bell almost holding the footy. Should have been holding the footy, you'd reckon. Richardson back to Burns. Oh, they've made a meal of this. Stevens, Motlop. Had numbers there in defence. Prestigiacomo.
Yeah, great work, Prestigiacomo, and played on quickly. Good stuff.
Shawbull on right centre wing for Collingwood. Looking for Lucuria. Needs to bounce. It bounced terribly for him. Allison should get a free kick.
Oh, no free.
Lucuria again. Michael.
Patterson's on free, quick. Goal square, vacant goal square. Patterson's on.
Oh, he's decided he's going to go back and have a shot.
Now, was that staging by Allison?
Well, he was grabbed, but he didn't have the football.
Yeah, I think his left arm actually held the arm of Lucuria also. That's probably skill in the modern game.
He is one of the noted stages, though, let's put it frankly.
The free kick from the umpire.
Might have been right.
Michael for goal. And gets it.
Terrific work there by Simon Prestigiacomo. One-on-one contest against Carey. Backed his judgment. Got underneath the flight of the footy, did Carey, but Prestigiacomo backed his instincts and took a well-judged mark. As soon as he found his feet, he played on quickly to the run of Schwabel, who kicked the ball forward to a 2-on-1 situation. Lucuria and Patterson were there free. Lucuria used the footy well to Michael. Good play, good build-up.
Well, are we going to see the boil-over of the season here? 7 points the margin, long way to go, of course. Centre of the ground is Scholl. Grant goes in. But Collingwood putting up a terrific performance here against one of the top sides. There's the Kangaroos bench.
And Burns is pushing back into that hole, allowing him to be free in the Collingwood's defence, and that allows David King. The run of David King could become influential because he's loose across half-back for the Kangaroos.
Well, here's the racehorse, David King. Look at this, a good sign for the Magpies. Surrounded. He was David King. Buckley, no, it won't be Buckley getting the free kick, but he was one of the... Now, that's a trip on Paul Williams. The umpire paid the free kick. In towards half forward for the Magpies. They've got the numbers. Here's danger. Tyson Lane, good play. Brings it across the ground, and Mel Michael has led. And that's very good forward play. Instead of blazing away, kick it to a man who's loose.
Yeah, and it's great to see Paul Williams. The intent to tackle. Hasn't done a lot this year. I think hasn't accepted the contest as much as what he should from a leader. It's great to see him do it at this stage of the game, to push his body through the line of the footy.
Mel Michael, goal number 3, hit the post, and that is a poor kick.
I think that's 2 posters each now.
2 posters this quarter for Collingwood.
But the whole point is, Rockers missed one from 10 metres. That's 30 metres. They said just poor kicking.
In fact, Collingwood have had 3 posters, North Melbourne 2.
Well, they've let the Kangaroos off the hook there.
They have. Pickett. Long to the outer side. Rocker and Archer. Patheris. Tackle. Might have been illegal. Not so.
Oh, that should have been holding the ball then. And those Kangaroo players are dead right.
And I thought there might have been a high one too there. But Lucuria is going to get away with it. It's going to be a ball up just outside the Magpie 50-metre arc. Ruck contests. See it close to the boundary line. Stevens takes it over.
And there's going to be a double change here. Sorry, Peter. Brent Harvey to come on, Jason Mooney to come off, and Orchard to go on.
Yeah, 2 talls for 2 smalls. Harvey will go to the forward part of the ground, be a crumbing rover.
Rocker and Martin. McCartney blazes away with the kick. Which way will it bounce? Orchard, as Couchy said, has just come onto the ground, provides a shepherd for Lane. McCartney in the box seat. No opponent really. He had good support from Pike. Freeborn was outgunned there, had no chance.
He's been good, Tyson Lane, this quarter. Been very lively.
He's going to bring it out the member side. McCartney's kick. Punch away by Tape. Motlop. Scholl. Simpson.
No one forward.
Off the step. Look at this. Gee, there's no one home. You could build a block of flats down there at that end of the MCG. Burns pressured by Carey, who knocks the ball out of bounds for a throw-in left half forward for the Roos.
I cannot understand. I don't care whether it's modern-day football or old-time football, that when a player gets the ball around centre wing, that he kicks to a space and there's no one there. Not one forward within 50 metres of goal. In fact, 70 metres of goal.
Scholl tried to get it to Simpson. Bathiris, though, gets it to Lockyer for Collingwood, and the Magpies come up towards centre field. A marking contest. Motlop slaps to the front. Lockyer again. Burns, Patterson it was, brilliantly to Williams. Williams and Martin. Martin's got him, takes him on. Ball jarred free, no free kick. Well done, Mickey Martin.
Jeez, that was great speed by Martin.
Confronted by Rocker it was. Now Freeborn tries to get it back to Rocker. Rocker on the left. He's kicked it a mile in the air. It's over the roof of the Great Southern Stand. And out of bounds on the full. Archer will take the free kick in the right back pocket for the Roos.
Yes, well, here's the kick across the ground. Rocker looks tired after that run. Here's Stevens, who just never stops working. He's looking up the ground, didn't have a lot to kick it to. Carey seems to be strong. I wonder if he's injured, you know, because he's just not attacking it like he normally does. There's a quick hand pass by Clayton. Still in play, said the boundary umpire. Buckley, back it comes to Buckley. Buckley just gets his boot to it. And a good mark on centre wing. A very good mark. Ricky Olorenshaw.
That's it for his first run, Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Couchy. And the Magpies showing enormous spirit. Gee, if they could pinch a goal here, it'd be invaluable. In towards half forward, some pushing and shoving going on. The Kangaroos have got numbers. Here's Pike. He received that time from Glenn Archer. Dangerous kick across the ground. It's a loose ball with Mel Michael, but the umpires paid the free kick to Ellison.
A little bit stiff because he was off and running. Collingwood crowd not happy with that. And they're doing well in this quarter, the Magpies. He certainly served it right up for the Roos. Bathiris caught out of position. Chance for Buckley. Motlop's there with him. Shannon Grant goes in. And just wide of the centre circle, we will see a ball up. 67 plays 75. 7.5 minutes remaining in this quarter.
It's a big match for North, for Kangaroos too.
Like,
huge.
their second spot is hinging on the result of this game, but full credit to the Collingwood team. They've really worked hard in close, and that's been a delight from Tony Shaw's point of view to see the young players put their head in the hole and winning first access to that loose footy.
Well, Stevens' kick ricocheted, but it's going to be a free kick to Richardson. Martin pushing and shoving. Pickett outgunned, outnumbered. King gets the hand pass away, gets it back again. Off he goes, King towards centre wing, looking for Scholl. Scholl's got it. Running players are plenty. Allison, not a great kick, might still go to Carey. Will he give it to Bell? Will he have a shot himself? He's going to do the latter. Turns, kicks, delivers. Misses to the right-hand side. He hasn't got his right kicking bird on at the moment. 3 goals, 5.
Off the footy between Scholl and Jamie Tape. A little bit of a howdy to do, but things have quietened down. Dennis Pagan, as we see on screen, probably frustrated.
Doesn't look happy, does he, Dennis?
Maybe it just comes down to that word attitude, Pete. Complacency of attitude. You've got to respect your opposition, irrespective where they are on the ladder.
Orchard almost dropped the sitter then it's a wobbly kick to the centre of the ground. Another mark, this time dropped by Patterson. Loose ball. Williams onto the left. Brings it down to Michael, who's had a very good quarter. He's got it. He gives it off in turn. Williams can set sail for goal from 45. And up and under kick. It's another one. Yes! Magpies on fire. Wow, are we going to see a big boil over here, Mick?
Well, everything's sort of heading in that direction. There's no doubt about that. And this will test the resolve of the Kangaroos team as Peter Bell is coming from the ground. Paul Williams is following him to that part of the ground. It's interesting to see, I think, the Kangaroos team have really got to steal their mind and be more accountable. This Collingwood team are full of run at the moment, whereas the Kangaroos look a little bit lethargic and flat.
2 goals to Paul Williams, 195 career goals. And that was a gem, that one. Capuano, Stevens went without it. Buckley wrapped up. Ricochets to Stevens. Player on his own in the forward pocket.
Well, Welsh just come on the ground replacing Peter Bell. He charged straight to that forward part of the ground. And the runners out there from Collingwood, Mick Gayfer is actually out there at this current time, confused. In terms of who was matching up who. Paul Williams was the player that come off the ground with Bell. He should have actually ran towards where Walsh was running, but he was indecisive. Gafer was actually calling Tyson Lane back. Lack of communication could cause a goal for the Kangaroos.
Well, he should kick it. He's kicked 15 for the year. Only about 15 metres out.
And that's typified their day.
Oh, gee, out of bounds on the full. Well, Pete, you're a goal kicker. Well, one of the greats. Why? How could you miss from there?
Well, I just can't believe you can kick out of bounds on the full from that close in. I just can't believe it. And that kicking for goal, 9:14 on a perfect day for football, is abysmal by the Kangaroos.
How windy is it down there at ground level, Couchy?
No, it's not very windy at all, Mick, but just North Melbourne, the Kangaroos are panicking a little bit. They're under pressure.
I agree with that too, Couchies. We see Batheris getting it over the top. This is Paul Licuria. Can they get another one? A beautiful long kick. They want a mark from one of the big fellas. It's over the back with Rocker. Now Tarrant. Now a goal kicked by Brown. Terrific team play. The Magpies all the way from defence, and the Kangaroos under enormous pressure.
Yeah, they certainly are under pressure. It's just the speed now of the Collingwood team that are causing a concern for the Kangaroos. Gavin Brown on the end of a handball finally. The great penetrating kick there by Licuria, right to the front of the goal mouth. That's where the pressure doubles. The ball was kept alive firstly by Anthony Rocker, who gave the ball to Tarrant. Quick hands to Brown, who ran in to kick his second. They don't come much easier than that.
Denis Pagan looking a little bit worried. Magnificent hand pass from Tarrant to get it to Gavin Brown. Gavin Brown had a great hand pass earlier in the day, which resulted in a goal. Simpson out of the middle. Allison kicks to half forward. Welsh has got it. Now he's got a chance to make amends for an absolute Barry Crocker about 2 minutes back.
And I suppose this is a concern for Collingwood. The Kangaroos can kick quick goals relatively easy. They really have to manufacture a man-on-man situation. If the Kangaroos look like scoring, be accountable all over the ground and shut the Kangaroos teammates down.
So Welsh, this time directly in front, has missed to the left-hand side. So 2 direct shots at goal. His sum total is 1 behind.
Brent Harvey's come off and Robert Scott's come on.
Thanks, Cat.
Gee, this is small players like Peter Bell's on the bench, Brent Harvey, they just haven't fired a shot today.
You can't win games if you continually miss goals from that 30-metre mark.
Well, we've had 5 posters today. Collingwood 3 and the Roos 2. Tyson Lane brings it into the member stand side.
Great kick.
Krista Giacomo has it. At right half back, he'll be looking for somebody on centre wing. Pike provides opposition for Freeborn, but Freeborn too strong. Good hands. Getting the Magpies moving quickly. Kicks to a contest at half forward. Not well directed. King takes the mark, and he will repel that Magpie attack pretty quickly. Goes for distance with the kick, but Collingwood have the numbers at right half back. Punch to the front by Tate. Ball shuffled back to Richardson. On to Batheris, and Collingwood should get clear.
They're doing really well, the Magpies. Batheris in towards Michael. Pickett did well. That was a great pick-up. That is fantastic play. He's going to bomb it long and wide. He's hoping Welsh can get there. Can he? Yes. Now Welsh has now got his 3rd shot for goal in the space of about 3 or 4 minutes.
And this is his most difficult one.
Well, he'll probably kick this one. But he has had missed 2 sitters.
Well, Michael looks promising playing in the forward part of the ground.
He attacks the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's quick off the mark. He's certainly causing a concern for Byron Pickett. That's the reason why Denis Pagan's swung a change there. McCartney's now gone to Michael, and Pickett is now picking up Gavin Brown.
Welsh will kick from 40 metres, and he might have kicked one at last. He has.
Had to eventually.
Well, he kicked probably the hardest one of the 3, and the Kangaroos would be breathing a sigh of relief. Mick, they needed that, and they needed it badly.
Yeah, they certainly did. They're still in this contest. There's not a lot of difference between the 2 teams. Great pick up there by Pickett. Not a bad kick to the advantage of Welsh, because he had looked up. There was Richardson back in the hole. Welsh lunging mark. Good effort.
This is where the Magpies have to hang on.
Here's 2 very important 2.5 minutes in the context of this game. Williams wrapped up in the tackle. taken to the ground by Adam Simpson, who himself averages over 21 disposals a match. Paul Williams, from the runner-up in the Pies best and fairest. On song at the moment to cause a boil over, but the Kangaroos can score pretty quickly. Plenty of goal kickers. Stevens has won. Rocker, Buckley. He's had a quiet turn. Michael's been very good this quarter. Pickett and Brown. Oh, that was almost too high on Freeborn. Pike will go for the boundary line. He'll let that go. So throw in right half forward for Collingwood as the clock ticks down to three-quarter time. The Magpies trailed at half-time by 7 points. They were behind by 4 points at the first change, but they look like leading at three-quarter time in Tony Shaw's final game as coach at the MCG. Martin slaps to the front. Picked up for the Kangaroos by Clayton. Clayton's kicked back towards centre wing. And the mark is there to Richardson.
And he's been good in his 100th game.
He has.
Played that role very well. Capuano is certainly struggling in terms of the mobility of Richardson.
Martin taken out of that contest by Rocker. Martin nearly tripped up to, gets it back to Clayton off a step, bombs it up and down. Scott at the back. Capuano too tall. Why wasn't he paid the mark? Didn't hold it long enough, I guess. Hand pass intended for Patterson from Williams. He has another go, but Patterson wasn't there. Going through solidly was King. He'll see it over the line for a throw-in. Just over a minute remaining.
Peter, just at ground level, the North Melbourne players in defence are certainly panicking when they're under pressure, when quickly the Collingwood players bring it into their forward 50.
Well, it's in close to their forward 50 now for the Magpies. A big thump back to the boundary line. That's the one that a lot of people are questioning whether it's deliberate or not. A lot of people have been a lot of discussion during last week. When a player comes over the back and thumps it straight back to the line, as you can see there. Now the Magpies, Tarrant, Williams sets it up for someone to take a mark. They swoop from the back. You'd have to pay the man in front, I would think.
Yeah, McCartney, one front position. He's been a solid and durable defender since he's made the transition to this Kangaroos team. Very committed in his approach, eyes only for the footy. Had a terrific year.
Now he drives it out towards Allison. That's a very good mark with the sun in the eyes. Now the Magpies have the Kangaroos have got 32 seconds to take it down. He probably went a little bit wide then because he was looking for Carey. Carey's looking for support. He goes back to Allison. Allison tucked in on the boundary. Walks over the line. Is that deliberate?
Yes.
Yes. You cannot walk across the line. And good umpiring. Paul Lucuria. Oh, that could be a vital passage of play that the Magpies can race down and get a goal. Paul Lucuria way out at half forward.
There's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah, about 10 seconds. They need a mark. Mickey Martin at the back. He takes the mark with superior judgment and strength.
So Mickey Martin just delaying things. He won't have to delay it any longer, though. There's the siren for three-quarter time. And the Magpies will go in with a two-goal lead. The Roos 10-15-75. They trail Collingwood 13-9-87. And what could be one of the boil-overs of the season if they can hang on. 20 minutes of football. That will really test Collingwood and Tony Shaw. But they're trying to do it for Shawry today. As I said, his last game as coach on the MCG. At three-quarter time, it's 13-9-87 Collingwood. The Roos 10-15-75. Don't go away. Back shortly. Well, RP Casey. No sitting in the steps.
Buckley's had a quiet day, hasn't he?
He has. He had a very quiet quarter.
Kicks. In the centre of the ground now. Same setup again, boys.
Oh, here we go, yeah.
Same setup again. With the lateral kick.
Start of the final quarter, and once again the Magpies with this controversial forward setup. No forwards inside 50. It worked once in the third quarter, but it came unstuck on another occasion, which resulted in a North Melbourne goal. So the start of the final quarter, the Magpies leading by 2 goals. Simpson puts the Roos into attack towards left half forward. Carey hasn't had a really great day. Tackled by Ola Renshaw. Bell, will he get it? Yes, he will. Gives it back to Carey. Roos free kick. Carey goes in short, may come unstuck at Will. Buckley.
Just everything they've done today has just been too casual.
Yep.
And it's a reflection on the scoreboard. Collingwood have accepted that, and they're playing with a chock full of confidence.
Tarrant. He had a brilliant hand pass late in the third quarter, which resulted in a goal. Orchard's kick up towards centre wing wasn't a good one, though, for the Magpies. They may be able to get out of this. I don't think they will. Tackled is Harvey, still gets his kick in, and the ball into the arms of Stevens, just wide of the centre square.
And this is a player that personifies their hardness. And Steve-O, as a player, certainly got a lift.
Well, that's not a great kick. Carey, Freeborn and Pike. Pike in front, tackled by Freeborn. And Collingwood did well there to tie it up. Had Carey got it, they were off and running. So they've won a ball up close to centre wing on the outer side.
Jeez, the foot skills and it's just poor. And I'm with you, Mick. There's been a lot of casual play by the Kangaroos. And I don't know whether they thought it was a foregone conclusion, but the Magpies have been terrific. Now, here's Adam Simpson hooking it back to the half-forward line. It clears the pack. The race is on. Pace is needed. Orchard's got plenty of that. He heads around the boundary line and he puts it over.
Great work there by Orchard. Good percentage play. One possession. Kept a cool head. Didn't panic. Kicked the footy along the boundary line and let the ball roll out of play. Good play. Interesting matchup also. Archer versus Burns across half forward.
It's flicked down by Mooney. Here's Scotty Burns. He's going to hook it around his body, hoping there'll be a Magpie there. Pike is there trying to use his body. He's got support from Stevens, who almost threw it away. Here's Bell. And the umpire having none of that. And that was very good umpiring, and you've got to say the umpiring has been excellent all day. They've really let it flow. I think Stevens was...
that's dropping it like a hot spud, isn't it?
Well, it certainly wasn't Stevens' kick. If anything, it would have been a Magpie kick. Here's Mooney. So he tried to get in a hand pass. Bell, he couldn't get it. Stevens, geez, working overtime. Here's a push out in that... No, it's a free kick back on centre wing. Now, which way is it going? It's going the Magpies' way, is it?
Yeah, against Stevens, a retaliator to Paul Williams.
So Williams... just counted for the Paul Williams, way out on centre wing. They lead by 2 goals, Collingwood. He bombs it in long towards half forward. A pack develops. Oh, Tarrant! Tarrant over the pack. An absolute screamer. Let's hope he can take his kick.
He'll be able to take his kick.
No, he's come down limping. Just let's hope he... I hope he hasn't done his ankle.
Because,
straight to the knee, not the knee.
Oh,
Goodness me, that would be a tragedy after taking the mark of the year almost, and the poor young kid has hurt his knee.
And that is a Cadbury's mark.
A terrific grab.
Of the day, there's no doubt about that.
He just flew right over the pack and marked it on his chest. But let's hope that's just a jarring. Maybe it is.
He's a great talent, Mick, isn't he?
Oh, yes. He's my #1 pick. As soon as he went to ground, smart play there by Buckley. Went straight to the Tarrant contest. Here we go here. Look at that for a leaping mark. He was up there for a week.
That's Burton-esque, you could say.
Now, he's not taking the kick. Now, let's hope that looks like Rupert Batheris. And he's hobbling on that knee. Now, let's hope, because knee injuries sometimes, well, they make him take the kick.
He's either off or he's got to take the kick. Good umpiring. Have to control the situation.
Well, he might handball it off.
No, he'll have a shot. There's nothing wrong with him.
He's going to kick it in short, in towards the pocket. Oh, Mark Richardson couldn't get back there, and Mooney happy to let it roll over. In fact, he took it over. Now, let's get back to Tarrant. He might be okay.
He's all right.
He's all right.
There's been a change. Anthony Stevens off and Brady Anderson on.
Gee, that's a strange move. Stevens off.
Discipline it'll be, and rightfully so, to give away a free kick when they controlled the footy. And that's what Denis Pagan's all about.
Fair
and
enough.
maybe that's to just stunt the group to say, OK, we're still in the contest. There's a game here to be won. There's only 2 goals of difference. We cannot afford to give away free kicks whereby we can still control the game.
They've been a bit sloppy all day in all areas, Mick, today, haven't they?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Couchy. And it would be upsetting the match committee from the Kangaroos team, just in terms of their attitude.
Martin wins it, but hits it straight to Freeborn. Tarrant to Patterson. Bouncing ball, yes. Favours the Roos in the end. Snaffled by Peter Bell. Simpson went past Patterson. Clean bowled about 3 or 4 others as well. Good tackle by Archer. Wins the ball for the Roos. King from Allison. King gets on his bike. Kicks towards left half forward. Welsh nearly, yes, Welsh finally should be paid the mark, and he is lucky.
Yeah, he's a likely type, Welsh. He can play forward or across half back. He's a mobile type of running player. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see if Denis Pagan makes a change in the ruck also.
Mooney in front, couldn't complete the mark. Buckley, a little bit too severe, the hand pass, a turnover. Pike nearly, Simpson. No one to give it to, did well to get a kick in the end, might have been penalised otherwise. Ball kicked out the front of the pack, Grant. Quick hand pass, and that shot at goal is astray.
Clayton. Just unfortunate. At times they're just been able to settle themselves, but they haven't been able to kick accurately, the Kangaroos team. But Collingwood's pressure has been very good today. They've denied the Kangaroos team a lot of time and space, and they've worked hard, especially from their defensive part of the ground.
Well, they're not making inroads into that deficit at the moment, but they can kick goals in a hurry. Here's Richardson as it thumped away by Mooney. Buckley read that beautifully. Low trajectory kick to half forward, or you can't fall over because Brown, he snaffles it to Licuria. Licuria kicks to the wide open spaces. The Kangaroos have got the numbers. Mickey Martin's one of them. Well done by Rocker. Martin did well. Very well, in fact. Hand passes wide to the running player in King. That was great play by Martin. Now King sets it up for his forwards. They want someone to take a high mark. It flips over the back. The race is on. Who's going to end up with it? It goes to ground. Archer is there, and Welsh. Now a chance over the head. Scholl. I think he might have kicked this.
He has.
Oh, goodness me. That was just sheer hard work. Goal.
Yeah, and poor play by Chris Tarrant. He's either injured or he's not injured. David King charged to make numbers at the contest. Tarrant will have to be removed from the ground merely because of a lack of discipline. Poor play. David King was the architect of getting that football forward. He was prepared to work hard out of defence. Tarrant stopped and watched and became a spectator. You've got to be better than that in that part of the ground to offer some defensive pressure.
Scholl kicking the goal. Here come the Roos. I think you would expect to say that the Roos would be favourites from here. Stevens, the half forward, that's a good mark to Welsh. He's been more than nuisance value since he came on.
Yeah,
Missed a couple of sitters in the third quarter, but he finished by kicking a pretty long and difficult goal. He's got a chance for another one.
I think Collingwood might have to swing a change there. Tyson Lane, he's better off being a floating type of midfielder because he can get free. Maybe Krosiska go back to a half-back flank and play on Welsh.
Mick Tarrant's come off too. He's just checking his knee out. I'll give you an update on that.
Thanks, Couchy. A goal here would put the Kangaroos back in front after they trailed by 12 points at three-quarter time. Welsh from outside 50 gives it both barrels. Bang, the Roos are back in front.
And that's the value of being able to take contested mark in your forward 50-metre area. I've certainly got a lot of faith in this young man Welsh, but there's the change that was mentioned. Capuano had to come back onto the ground to give the ascendancy for the Kangaroos team because Mooney looked a little bit lethargic running around trying to follow Richardson. Schwarber looks like coming back now to be responsible for Welsh, and you'll probably see Tyson Lane go forward to maybe be a goal kicker for the Pies.
And And there's Chris Tarrant, who took a sensational mark and then seemed to damage his knee. Stevens is working very, very hard in the middle of the ground. And no wonder you're after a coaching job, Mickey McGuan. All your moves are coming off, mate.
Oh, well, I think it was just a logical move, Pete. Welsh has certainly got off Tyson Lane a couple of occasions. Lane's a floating midfielder who can be used to break up play. And that's why Collingwood took control in those second and third quarters, merely because they weighted numbers at the footy.
And Mooney gets it to Mickey Martin in towards the half-forward line. Oh, good mark, strength. And that
Touched off, no mark. Was touched off the boot.
Wow.
That's the reason why the ball was called play on from the umpire. You see him singling there, both hands in the air, touched off the boot. Good awareness there by Scott Burns to bring Archer to ground to keep the ball dead and buried in that area.
Looks like referee's hold on the boundary. Buckley dispossessed. King tackled well by Lane. Orchard, no one to give it to, just about ridden into the ground. King pitches it again. Freeborn's nearly got him, but he's too quick. It bounces out to Oliver Renshaw. He'll give it back to Buckley, who's been a little bit quiet after half-time. Started the match on Carey. Buckley kicks to half-forward. Rocker nearly. Pickett finally. Back to Buckley. Should mark it. Confronted by Archer. 1 point the difference. A thriller at the MCG. The Kangaroos finishing the better. Can Collingwood come back at them? Would certainly be one of the upsets of the year if they can pinch the 4 points. Buckley to half forward. Rocker from the side. Nearly. Oh, yes, he's got it, I think. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has.
He'll have a shot.
Well, he should have a shot. He can kick long. We saw him go for a short pass in the second quarter when he was within kicking distance, and it resulted in a turnover.
Well, wouldn't this lift them? Wouldn't this lift the Magpie players if he could slot this through from way out there?
Well, I reckon he's a chance.
He'll make the distance. So still be a great kick from there.
Late in the game's always a concern. When you're tired, 55 metres from goal, you have to kick it that little bit harder.
Not going to quite get the distance this time. Brown was the flyer.
Ooh.
Then he comes to Richardson at the back, gives it out to his teammate in Scotland there, who's just onto the ground. Haven't seen him before today, but it's going to be a ball up.
Peter, just on Tarrant, he's okay. Just twinge on his knee, and he's fine. He'll be right.
Well, that's good news for the Magpies. It certainly was a great mark. And Bethera's coming off the ground. He's going to be replaced by Lockyer, but back into the play. Mooney tries to thump it to the boundary line. Pickett shuffles it up to the front. Quick kick comes out to Simpson. The Roos away again. Clayton's hand pass is okay. Gives it back to him from right half back. Simpson's kick long towards centre half. Oh, Schauble, good mark over Welsh. That was a good move. You picked it, Mickey McGuan. Otherwise, they would have been further forward again.
Yeah, good mark by Andrew Schauble. That's what they want from Andrew. They want him to start taking a few grabs around that halfback area. Now he's going short. It has to be. Oh, no, this is costly. This is very costly because Archer's loose, kicks it low into a really good goal kicker in Craig Scholl, and that was very, very dangerous play.
Yeah, and Lockyer has been a player who's sat on the interchange bench for the last 15 or so minutes. Scholl is a noted goal kicker, as you said.
It's a very accurate kick too.
Yeah, and this is his pet distance, around the 50-metre line. He hits it pretty sweet, more often than not, pretty accurately.
Well, here's the kick from Scholl. It looks good. It is good. It's a goal. Bit of breathing space. Oh, the goal up. I got hit on the head by the ball. But a bit of breathing space. And we saw a shot at Tony Shaw, Mick. And he looked, here we go again. A skill error under pressure.
Yeah, the right thing was done by
Schauble. Spectator for that.
Really, because Burns had sucked off Archer for the overlap out wide. You saw him on the top of the screen. But turnovers in midfield. Just a skill error, marking error. Call it what you like.
And the police
was a concern for Coach Tony Shaw.
Police escorting someone out of the ground for that, throwing the ball at the goal umpire. There.
Bit premature. They're still okay, the Maggies, but the Roos are finishing full of hop. Back to the centre. 87 plays 94. Kangaroos looking the goods at the moment. Bell. A little give, that's okay to Harvey. Long towards half forward again. Schauble should be paid the mark. Is paid the mark.
Jesus, developing player under Danny Frawley. Danny Frawley's really wrapped his performance throughout the course of this year, and rightfully so.
Oh dear, Simpson. Not a good mark. Presta Giacomo, rather, that was.
There
He's got another one.
Gee, that's good marking under pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just matured in all facets of the game, Pete. He's worked on his skill level, both with hand and feet. He's really backing his instincts, which is great to see.
On the Renshaw, Krasiska from left centre wing. Collingwood need a quick reply. Michael's been good on the forward line in spasms. Runs around the mark, call to play on, kicks it long towards the 10-metre square. Roos defence equal to the occasion. Buckley on the boundary line, snaps it back. Free kick it may be to Collingwood, yes.
Good kick by Buckley. Smart kick.
Martin can't believe it.
I'd like to see that one again.
Yeah, so would I. I thought there wasn't much in that contest, but Buckley kept the footy alive by just being smart. Didn't overkick it, just kicked it to the front of the goal mouth. That's where the pressure comes. Yeah, maybe his left arm was across the left shoulder of Anthony Rocca. We speak about pressure. This is what Rocca has to do.
Well, he's got to kick this one. He's got to just keep it low, not try and kick it goal post high. Kick it hard and low, straight over the goal umpire's head. Oh, goodness me, Anthony Rocca. This is time and time again. We see it.
I call it pressure, Pete.
I reckon he would miss more goals from 20 metres than any player in the competition, without a doubt.
Didn't follow through, did he?
It's just a tired
It's the
action.
pressure. It's the pressure. I've got no doubt, because basically he's a good kick. Well, I am flabbergasted. That is match-losing football. Here's McCartney. Mark it up again, particularly if the Kangaroos go down and score a goal. Anthony Rocca won't forget that. Now, this will be... Clayton couldn't mark it. Burns was there. Very lucky.
Clayton.
Very, very lucky, Shane Clayton. He's got it out there, way out at half forward. Now he's bringing it into that danger area where all those big fellas sweep for their marks. Still the Kangaroos through Stevens. On to Allison. Allison kicks it in towards goal. Racing back is Archer, and he has marked a metre out. So another gimme goal. So how important was Rocca's kick now?
Yep. Just goes to show conversion is still one of the most important components of our great game. But Archer has lifted his work rate, and I think it's fair to say the whole Kangaroos group has rallied to the adverse situation they were in at three-quarter time.
Well, this is not going to be an easy kick when that angle he's on now, and he might run out. Look at this great camera shot. I wonder if he'll sneak out to the right.
Just run straight, wouldn't you, Pete?
Well, I'd sneak out a little bit, Mickey, and open him up. Let's see if he does. No, he's having the set shot, and he's threaded it through. So all of a sudden the Kangaroos have put the 2-goal margin there when Collingwood should have been with them.
Well, they've kicked the last 5 goals in the game unanswered. We spoke earlier in the game that they have the ability to score quickly. There's a penetrating kick. Archer worked hard to get behind the defensive group of Collingwood. Could have probably left it go, the ball would have ran free. But Archer did the percentage thing. Well, he wasn't aware of where the goals were or the points were. Took a well-judged mark and went back and threaded through.
8 minutes to go, 12 points the margin. Collingwood adding just 1 behind so far in the final quarter. We expected the Roos to finish hard. Rocca, he's opposite number 23 as Clayton gives it to Stevens. A little fumble. Oh dear, Burns missed it. Archer again. Back to midfield. Mooney. Welsh. Tape underneath the ball. Krasiska gives him some support. It's out of bounds, though, in front of Welsh in North Melbourne's, in the Kangaroos' left forward pocket. 12 points, 2 goals. The Magpies need to draw level. Might be a tall order at the moment. Just costly skill errors at the wrong time. And of course, that bad miss by Anthony Rocca. Mooney and Richardson. Keary's kick smothered. Lockyer dragged down by Bell. Simpson.
They're just running straighter at the footy now, the Kangaroos team.
Big pack of players. I think Keary might have that.
He dropped it, I think.
Well, he's got it now, but it's not going to be a mark.
I think it hit the ground.
Oh, Renshaw.
But you've got to remember,
on top of him.
as we look at this again, Yeah, hit the ground. You've got to remember Rocker missed one earlier in the game from closer in than that. 10 metres out, directly in front.
So a bounce 20 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal. If they get another one, it'll just about be good night nurse, you'd reckon. Bell. King. Right on the boundary line. Runs out of room. Tries to banana it. Not a bad attempt.
Oh.
And Shawble takes the mark over his teammate Paul Williams.
Well, there's 6.5 minutes. Oh, dangerous that. It's come off to Paul Williams. Now Williams is going short also. Out there is Tyson Lane. Lane brings it back in. Just a little bit of a shove, but strength by Buckley. Buckley, oh, he's kicked straight into the man coming towards him. That's Stevens. And Stevens, well, that's a bad mistake by Nathan.
It looked like he tried to kick the footy a little bit too hard once again, Pete. If we can have a look at that replay once again, he just didn't give it enough elevation to get the footy over the top of the outstretched hands of Stevens.
Well, Mark Richardson bombs it in towards the half-forward line. They're still in at the Magpies. Here comes Rocker. On to Patterson, an up and under kick. They need a mark. 2 Magpies. Mel Michael takes the mark. He's going to chip it around the corner. It's too wide, I think. Buckley's there, though. He can do the miraculous. A great attempt by Buckley. Have a look at that for a champion's kick. That is a great goal. Or was it touch? No, it's all clear. It's a goal.
Yeah, magnificent shot on goal there from Buckley. Ran extremely hard from when the ball went out of bounds to that forward pocket. That's what you call work rate, and that's the reason why he's a terrific player in the midfield. Pushing forward into the forward part of the ground. That's what I'd like to see him do more of. But have a look at the composure. He knew the pressure was coming from Stevens. Stevens is a body player. Very rarely can you balk Stevens because his tackling technique's so good. But Buckley waited for the pressure to come, kicked it around his body, and that is an excellent shot on goal.
18 kicks to Nathan Buckley. Seems to have had a quiet day, but it's not a bad afternoon's work. He certainly made amends for kicking into the mat on the mark a couple of minutes back. One of the goals of the day for the Nike Honours. Shane Clayton goes to ground. Williams a chance. Tackle by Shannon Grant. Long handball. Blakey approaching his 300th game. Burns and Archer. Carey over the top. Burns this way, that way to Prestigiacomo. Renshaw at right centre wing. Collingwood haven't thrown in the towel. Big pack of players. Pickett in the middle. Scotland tried to get it out. Patterson, Krasiska off a step, kicks to half forward. Sun certainly a factor. That was brilliantly done. Williams from Brown into goal. Must kick it. And has, what's he done?
Yeah, he's got it.
Has he got it? Yes, he has. It's a goal. Scores a level.
Great work by Gavin Brown. Magnificent touch there by Brownie. He was aware that the defensive player for the Kangaroos in Blakey had to be committed to Gavin Brown, who might have accepted the footy in his hands. Good kick there by Krasiska into the path. Look at that for a deft touch. Didn't take possession, touched into the path of Williams, who converted. And we have a game on our hands. Both scores level.
Well, look at Denis Pagan now. He is a worried man. It's a big game for them. They want top 2.
And the Maggies don't want the wooden spoon, Pete.
No, a lot of cynics have insinuated they do to try and get an extra draft pick. Ooh, there's Buckley. Down to half forward again, Mickey Martin. Pickett, it's a loose ball. Martin, ever reliable, belts it out of defence. Oh, beautiful mark. What a great mark. Simpson, Collingwood player down. On to Allison. Allison brings it back. The Flyers are there. It's a loose ball at halfback. Well played, Mark Richardson. He's looking for Buckley. A great pickup. Buckley drives. Pickett will fly from the back. He's a very disciplined player. Simpson again. Gives it off to Grant. Grant coming through the middle. That's great play by Grant. Here's a goal coming up to Bell. Bell sets sail for goal. Oh, he's missed a sitter also. Goodness me. Some of the kicking for goal is disgraceful.
Yeah, magnificent. Nothing better than a close encounter. Have a look at Gavin Krasiska's finger.
Mick, just down at Grant, just at ground level here. North Melbourne, they got 2 goals in front there. Just took the foot off the pedal. Just felt they hadn't done enough today to win it.
Thanks, Couchy. Tyson Lane coming off the ground. They need to replace him quickly. Lucuria is going to come on. They're virtually a man short at the moment, Collingwood, as they were in that marking contest. Gives a chance for Clayton to mop up. Clayton does. Almost smothered by Orchard. Archer's got it. He was outnumbered. Harvey thought about a little give. And Burns takes the mark. Wasn't paid, surely. Welsh. Goal. That might just about do it. He's been good, Welsh, since he came on. Kicked 3 goals. Should have had 5. Missed 2 absolute sitters.
I think this was touched off the boot, this kick. Yep.
And that's the reason why the mark wasn't paid to Burns. Very similar to the Archer one earlier in the quarter. Good awareness there from the Kangaroos team this time to lay the tackle, dispossess the footy and give Welsh the opportunity to kick his 3rd for the day.
Well, a bit of breathing space. The Magpies have been valiant. They're 7 points down.
Got to get the next goal, Pete.
Yep, they certainly do. Back to the centre. This important centre bounce coming up here. Francisco, a quick kick. Oh, Mick Martin, he's been pretty good down there, Mick.
Yeah, he's just a durable defender. Himself and McCartney, they take whoever comes, and then they've got the peripheral defenders in Simpson, Pickett, and also King to create some run from that part of the ground.
He's always King getting it out to Pike. Pike, a little bit underdone today. He'll improve with the run under his belt. The kick in the direction of Carey. It seems, I don't know whether he's 100% fit. I really don't. He's been just not charging at the ball like he normally does.
Peter, the thing with that Mick Martin is he's prepared to play in front all the time. As soon as the ball's in the air, he moves in front of Rocker all the time.
So the ball out at half forward. 7 points the margin. Kangaroos in front. 2.5 minutes left in this game. Adam Simpson did the ruck work. This bounce. Or diving on top of it was Ola Renshaw. They've got to try and knock it out, the Magpies. Gee, they've been good, but the Kangaroos just so hard to shake off.
Yeah, they're just a persistent team. That hard enough, long enough mentality is a part of this Kangaroo group. They certainly never concede defeat.
Shawball. Grant may get there first and does. Knocks it back to the advantage of Allison. And the Magpies, remember, have got to kick 2 goals to win this game. Prestigiacomo, Carey, knocks at the front. Here he is again. Welsh snaps, kicks. That'll be the winning goal. He's had 3 opponents, and he's now kicked 4 goals, Scott Welsh, after starting on the bench. 16-17 to 15-10, 13 points the margin. So the Kangaroos will go to 2nd spot on the ladder tonight with 1 round remaining.
And this is the beauty of Carey, Pete. Still competing. If he didn't go up in the air, then Collingwood might have cleared the footy forward of that contest rather than the ball going over the back. And that's the reason why Welsh ran onto that loose footy. 9 kicks, 4 goals. He's been good for his team.
Yes, Welsh has kicked 4, missed a couple of sitters. But the Kangaroos pouring on the power now. Shannon Grant in towards half forward. Bell underneath it. Ola Renshaw with him. Ola Renshaw back to Prestigiacomo. Has really stood up well under pressure. This is Lucuria running around the half-back area. Oh, he just got in a hand pass. Great tackle by Bell. Lucuria steps over the line, and in fact it's forced over the line. So time has run out for the Magpies with just over a minute left, and are very relieved. But an agitated Denis Pagan, he must have been a worried man at various times during the game.
Certainly would have been, but they've stepped on the gas pedal in the final quarter, as we did expect them to do. Richardson now down to Buckley. Buckley's kick up towards centre wing. A marking contest there, picked up by Shawball. Shawball around the boundary line. Rocker underneath it. Might have been taken high. Archer sees it over the boundary line. Blakey too caught by that collision.
Great courage, Blakey. Oh, did he run hard? Look at this for the right of screen. Never took his eyes off the footy one bit. And that's the type of stuff that excites your teammates. And you've got to rise to the occasion like that. Most players ran straight towards John Blakey. Good to see him find his feet, be involved in the next passage of play.
Capuano from a standing start bombs it up to Carey. Prestigiacomo just caught a little bit short then. So the Kangaroos are going to win the game. But Collingwood have won the hearts of the crowd with their fight today. They're going to try to share it around now. Simpson, who's been pretty good, averages over 21 possessions a game. Harvey's got it. Not been perhaps his greatest game. Still picked up 13 kicks and given off 2 handballs, taken 4 marks.
See, I'd be telling him to get on and kick the thing if I was the umpire, wouldn't you? That the crowd hate that.
He's at left centre wing. Now Long, Richardson and Stevens. Bell roves it beautifully, as he so often does. Freeborn takes the mark in front of Martin Pike, who gets drawn back by the umpire. There's the siren. The Kangaroos have won it. They've scored by 13 points. The Magpies really tested them today, but that man on the right there was very dangerous. Had 3 opponents, kicked 4 goals won, as Pete McKenna said. Could have been a couple more.
Yeah, he was certainly the difference between the 2 teams after half-time. Martin was terrific in the defensive part of the ground with Jason McCartney. There's Wayne Carey on screen. Probably not an outstanding game from his point of view, but he had 8 scoring shots from 15 kicks. He kicked 3 goals, 5. Welsh kicked 4 goals, 1. Grant kicked 2 straight. Thought a lot of positives come out of the game from Collingwood's point of view. Buckley didn't have a great day. He had 21 kicks, but he was under pressure a lot of the times when he won that footy. I think a lot of their younger players were very good today. Mercuria was pretty good early. Lane got a lot of the footy. Prestigiacomo, he's certainly grown in stature under the guidance of Danny Frawley. Schwabel's improved over the last month. I thought Mark Richardson was good in his 100th game. Tarrant's a young kid with full of promise. But all in all, a lot of positives from Collingwood going into the year 2000. No doubt they'll have a new coach at the end of this year, and I think the new coach has got a lot to work with. Tony Shaw deep in thought. Last time he'll grace probably the MCG as a coach. No doubt a lot of great memories as a player and also as a coach, but he leaves the gracious turf, the MCG, thinking what could have been.
1 game to go for Tony Shaw. That's the home one against the Brisbane Lions next week at Victoria Park. What an occasion that will be. The Blues got the points today. They're back in 2nd place on the ladder with a 6-goal final quarter. Welsh finished up with 4 goals, Scholes 3 and Carey 3. And for the losers, Paul Williams got 3 goals, Chris Tarrant got 2, Gavin Brown got 2, and Mel Michael also kicked 2 goals. Peter Vandy, on behalf of Peter McKenna, Mick McGuire and Paul Couch, saying a very good afternoon to you from the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Sing it one and all. Join in the chorus. North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.